Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this Tampa City Council meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to remember a gentleman that was instrumental here at City Hall, Keith Brutton, who passed away unexpectedly. He was our facility management manager. He was an integral part of setting up the chambers, our second floor below, especially during COVID, keeping all of us safe and following the guidelines, a big part of the reception area, everything that you see here. You would see him moving around, doing stuff, because anytime we needed something, Keith and his team were always there to help us. He passed away unexpectedly. On behalf of myself and the City Council, I'd like to offer my condolences to his family during this time. His picture is up on the screen, a very familiar face here at City Hall. So as we go into invocation today, which Councilmember Miranda will introduce today's chaplain, let's remember Keith Brutton. Yes, sir. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, I'm honored to present to you, Jason Solwell. He's been a chaplain with the Tampa Police Department for 7 years and a founder of Initiative, a Tampa-based creative initiative, that is, a Tampa-based nonprofit organization leading local initiatives such as the Laundry Project, Hope for Homes Project, and Affordable Christmas. That's a tough one, that Affordable Christmas. He has been a minister in the Tampa Bay area for more than 20 years. My honor to represent to you, Mr. Jason Solwell.
All right,
please rise, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Gracious God, thank you for life. Thank you that we get to live it, and may we live it to the fullest today. As we think of that, we think about Keith and his family. God, we ask your blessing and your comfort on this family as they deal with this tragedy and suffer this loss, and all of those that knew him and were friends and close. May we represent him well in these days. May we honor him by living life to its best and its fullest. May we bring hope and bring light to the world around us, not just in our city, but in our country and in our world. And may the city of Tampa shine as a bright light in this world, of a place of hope and openness and leadership. And God, we ask your blessing in this holiday season. For those that are feeling lonely and suffering, may they find peace, and may they find hope, and may they find comfort. And those of us that have enough and that we have more than we can deal with as far as love and comfort, may we give out some of that love and comfort. We thank you for these leaders of our great city. As they lead us into the future, would you give them wisdom as they take us forward and make choices, not just for part, but for all of the city and for all of its residents and community to be the best that we can be as a city. Thank you again for loving us, for who we are, and bringing us to life. May we honor that today and every day after. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Carlson. Kurtak. Here. Clendenin.
Here.
Henderson.
Present.
Vieira.
Here.
Miranda.
Here.
And Maniscalco.
Here.
We have a fiscal quorum.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shelby, if you want to go ahead and read the rules and procedures.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of City Council, members of the public, Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. I'd like to briefly just review with you the rules of decorum for the conduct of today's meeting. The members of the public are allowed a reasonable opportunity after the presentations today to address any item on the agenda before City Council takes official action on the item. If it's general public comment, it's for any item that's not set for a public hearing. If you look at the agenda and it says public hearing associated with your item, the time for the comments will take place when that item is called up individually. A 3-minute time limit applies to all speakers providing comments. And speakers and members of the public are please reminded to refrain from disruptive behavior, including making vulgar or threatening remarks, or making or causing disruptive noises or sounds, or displaying signs or graphics. And speakers are also reminded to please refrain from launching personal attacks against any city official, staff member, or member of the public. And please address your comments to the city council as a whole and not to individual council members. The persons failing to comply with the council rules may be ruled out of order by the chair, and at the discretion of the chair may be removed from the chambers for the remainder of the day's meeting. And finally, city council should refrain from engaging a speaker under public comment, and the public should be aware that the city council does not take questions or have a dialogue during general public comment. This is your opportunity to express your position. Public comment cards are available outside for general public comment. Please fill out the card, place it in the box. It'll be collected up until the start of general public comment. Please print legibly, because if your name can't be read, it can't be called. Again, thank you for your cooperation. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much. And before we go into housekeeping, just want to acknowledge Mary Bryant and all her hard work in decorating City Hall, because she really does it all by herself. The Christmas tree, all the decorations you see from the first floor on up. So I just want to acknowledge Mary Bryant. All right, let's go into... We'll go into housekeeping. I have a memo received from Councilmember Vieira that item number 7 be heard with item number 83 together. All right, we have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilmember Hurtak. All in favor? All right, any opposed? Item number 47 is a request by, it's
No.
pulled for discussion, but it's a request for it to be continued to February 6, 2025.
So, yes, so, oh, sorry, let me grab my motions. I'm gonna grant this continuance so staff can have time to reassess and look at other possible solutions. This was, a rental for what I thought was too much money. So it's gonna come back probably on consent, and if the report isn't right, I'll just pull it then.
Okay, so we motion to move this to February 6th.
Yes, February 6th.
And if it could be then placed under the consent
Yeah,
docket?
it can still be placed on consent, and if the report isn't clear, then I'll just pull it.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
sounds good. We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. There's a request from Matt Newton for item number 71 that this item be heard first after consent, as the attorney needs to leave promptly due to a death in the family. We received this memo ahead of time. Without any objection, all right, we have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I'm going into staff reports. There is no administrative update per the Chief of Staff. Items 78 through 94, we're going to go through. 79, 80, and 81. Do we need staff present for those items?
No.
Wait, I'm sorry. Staff will be present for 80. 81 and 82 go together, so we'll have folks present for that.
For which ones for the staff?
80, 81, and 82.
So present.
Yeah, we have a presentation for 80.
Okay,
Yeah.
so staff will not have to be present for the second presentation for 79. That could just be moved out to the end of the consent docket, is that
Yes.
correct?
That's fine.
Thank you.
All right, so then we go to item 83. Councilmember Vieira, that's going to be a yes?
Yes, sir.
All right, so a yes on 83. 84 and 85 go together. Is that a yes?
I'm fine.
All right, so no on 84 and no on 85. Staff does not need to be present. Item 86?
No.
All right, no, there was a memo sent. Item 87? Do we need anybody here? Yes? Okay, so yes on 87. Item 88.
Yes, and if I may, Mr. Chair, on that.
Yes, sir.
I have spoken to Chief Bennett on this, and I see here, please see previously submitted memorandums. We gave extra time on this so that the issues could be better fleshed out. So I hope that whoever's going to be presenting here today has substantive updates on these issues on fleet maintenance, as well as the status of Station 24 for council. And I know we have this coming up shortly, but again, because I see previously submitted memorandums, we have a number of departments coming on this, and so I'm confident that we can move this thing forward.
All right, so a yes on 89, yes on 88, yes on 89. Chief Burkhall will be here. Councilmember Carlson is requesting that item number 90 be continued to January 30th.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Carlson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 91, request to continue to March 27th.
So moved.
Motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
92 and 93, yes, staff will be present for both. Those
Yep.
items go together. 94, we have a yes from Councilmember Henderson, and then items number 95 and 97, we will receive and file those. Item number 96, there's a request to continue this to February 20th.
97 is continuance.
97.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we're gonna receive and file 95.
Motion to receive and file 95.
Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Vieira, all in favor? Aye. And then item 96 is a continuance to February 20th, 25.
Continue to February 20th.
Motion to continue from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And item number 97 is a request to continue to January 23rd.
Continue to January 23rd.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will get a motion to approve the agenda and the addendum. Motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Clendenin, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're gonna start with our item number 1, ATU Employee of the Month. I'm sorry, before you begin, Councilmember Clendenin, we have a motion to adopt the minutes from December 5th, 2024, and the evening session held on December 12th. Motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilman Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? There you go ahead, sir, there you go.
Good morning, council and staff and everybody here from the citizens. I am always happy this time of the month to welcome my good friend, President Simon, as president of the ATU, representing the city of Tampa employees that keep Tampa running. And they do, and he does so well. Appreciate everything that you do for our city and everything that your employees do for the city. I'm going to hand it off to him to recognize our ATU Employee of the Month. President Simon.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, council, and good morning, City of Tampa. Happy holidays to all. I'm Steve Simon, the president of the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1464, and I'm happy to be here this morning to introduce you to the ATU Employee of the Month, Cheyenne Farris. Ms. Cheyenne Farris received Employee of the Month for October 2024 for her actions during the month of August. She functioned as the hub for tracking all storm-related activity during Tropical Storm Debbie and Hurricane Helene, both of which were not activated deployments. During Hurricane Milton, Ms. Farris functioned as a tactical dispatcher assigned to the Tactical Dispatch Operations Center. She worked cohesively with her squad to achieve success through pre- and post-storm necessities. Unrelated to storm deployments, Ms. Farris successfully worked multiple priority events, 2 of which directly affected the safety of the public. Receiving a call for a wrong-way driver, Ms. Farris worked quickly with HCSO, who was behind the vehicle after it hit and ran a deputy. She also worked an extensive search for a subject with a felony domestic violence assault warrant. She expeditiously worked with plainclothes officers and K-9 unit to take them into custody without incident. And that is fantastic. And we appreciate all that you do to help participate in keeping the city of Tampa running. And congratulations on being the ATU Employee of the Month. And I would like to present you on behalf of ATU Local 1464 with this award.
And everybody says,
Also, if I may, I got a letter from the mayor. Can I read that? Sure. Okay. Dear Cheyenne, congratulations on being selected as the Amalgamated Transit Union's Employee of the Month for your professionalism, strong work ethics, enthusiasm, and for going above and beyond in all aspects in your position as a public safety telecommunicator too. You have demonstrated a strong commitment and high standards since your hire date of December 2017. In your role, you assume multiple responsibilities that require attention to detail, multitasking, and working closely with our firefighters, paramedics, and police personnel. Most recently, during Tropical Storm Debbie and Hurricane Helene, you functioned as the hub for tracking all storm-related activity. You have earned the respect of your superiors, peers, and the community. You are an asset and integral part of the Tampa Police Department and the City of Tampa's mission of providing superior services, and your proficiency and positive attitude make you highly deserving of this recognition. Mayor Jade. And Chief? Yes, if you'd like to say a few words, please.
Absolutely. So I really appreciate you taking this opportunity to highlight Cheyenne for her work. And, you know, so many of our dispatchers do so many great things, and they're the ones behind the scenes that don't often get the recognition. So for you to select her, we're greatly appreciative. And for you, for all the work that you did during both those storms and then all the impacts that you've made, we greatly appreciate it. And congratulations.
Also, I would like to present on behalf of Steve Michelini, you have a gift card here for, and he also wrote and said, so many departments depend upon you for accurate and timely communications. You serve in a critical position that helps you to support the overall safety operations of the City of Tampa. And so I have a gift card from China Bistro. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Also, I have for Somi Greek Restaurant, you have Chicho's Restaurant Group. That's Chicho and Tony's. Daily Eats, large or green lemon. And then you also have Yummy House Bistro. And lastly, you have Meat Market Tampa. All of those are for you, so you take care of that. And then on behalf of Zoo Tampa, we've got this for you as well. Yes, I can take that.
Okay, so Councilwoman Hurtek lives for this time of the day, so she wants to see the stuffed animals. We have to show her. It's a Bengal tiger.
Yes.
Well, she also has one.
No doubt. Councilman?
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Council. Would you
Wait,
like
there-
to?
there's plenty more.
Oh, we've got more people addressed. Why? Come on up. This is the best.
Good morning, Council, and thank you. Good morning, Chief, President Simon. Very happy holidays to all, and thank you very much for doing this. Ms. Francis, your story is remarkable, and as the behind-the-scenes guy at $1, I can relate, and we appreciate what you do each and every day and the support that you get from your family. But we have a tradition at $1, and anybody that goes over and above, and you clearly do, gets a game ball. So I'd like to present that game ball to you. No fumbles. I've been known for that.
Thank you.
Nothing and down. Congratulations and thank you. Happy holidays to all.
And I live for you fumbling that ball.
And wait, there's more.
Morning.
Good morning, Council. Pete Brevy on behalf of Busch Gardens, and as I say every month, thanks for your continued support for the Employee of the Month and the first responders. Cheyenne, you have an incredible story, and on behalf of a grateful community and Busch Gardens leadership, I'd like to present you with 4 tickets to a day at our park. Thank you for all you do.
Appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Good morning, Council. Jill Witecki with Tampa Theater. Ms. Ferris, there is no substitute for grace under pressure, so thank you for bringing that to the good of our community. This is an annual membership to come see us over at Tampa Theater.
Thank you.
Good morning, Council. I'm Lori Osborne with the Florida Orchestra. And Cheyenne, your story is incredible and impressive. You're a young woman who is definitely going to be on the rise, and we are better for it. So on behalf of the Florida Orchestra, we welcome you and your family to a performance this season. We look forward to seeing you and celebrating you, and congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Council. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Merry Christmas. I feel like I should have brought my hat.
You should have. Everybody should have. That should be a theme next year.
I'm Jeff Houck with the 1905 Family Restaurants. Congratulations on winning this. Without your work, our customers can't get to our restaurants. And so you not only helped our restaurants, you helped the 1,900 employees of the Columbia Restaurant and the 1905 Family Restaurant. So we'd like you to come and enjoy a meal at any one of our restaurants, Columbia, Eulalie, Casa Santo Stefano. But congratulations and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Council, Mr. Chairman.
All right, anyone? Well, congratulations. clearly. I mean, you go above and beyond, and we appreciate you. You're an integral part of the City of Tampa family, and everything has already been said. We're really lucky to have, you know, folks like you being part of the team. So thank you, congratulations, and we really appreciate you.
Very good. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Enjoy all that. Make sure you bring those certificates with you. Oh, on behalf of the Tampa City Council, we'd like to present you a commendation.
Thank you.
There you go. Very good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Am I going upside down? Okay.
You gotta bring that for a picture. Yes.
All right. And next up, we're going to bring up Officer Roy Paz, the nicest guy in Tampa, not named Luis Vieira, as Luis Vieira honors him today.
Thank you, sir.
Council, it's a real great pleasure to be here today. We're here to honor a guy who is really just a wonderful person, Officer Roy Paz, and he's a humble person. He is. He's a guy that wears a lot of hats. I know he's here with his wife Vivian, who's here. He's a man of family and a man of community and a man who wears many, many hats. He began with Tampa Police Department on January 13th of 1995 and has served our city for almost 29 years in many, many capacities. For Officer Paz, you have a number of things with him. You have the man's accomplishments on the job, and then you have the values that led him to do those great work on the job. In terms of his accomplishments, he's worn many, many hats throughout his almost 3 decades with Tampa Police Department. That includes being a top cop in the fight against violent crime, in the fight against drugs and those who dare sell drugs to our children. That includes helping to eliminate 3 open-air drug dealing locations in North Tampa, East Tampa, and Sulphur Springs, being a pivotal voice in the creation of numerous neighborhood watches, being a pivotal voice in creating the TPD hurricane plan, something that becomes more and more critical to us, and helping to make Gasparilla more family friendly. Something that's not a surprise if you get to know Officer Paz. For 10 years, he has served as the face of the motor unit here in the Tampa Police Department, being a driving force behind the creation of the first ever statewide multi-agency motorcycle ride campaign, Operation Ride Smart, which has brought statewide attention to the importance of motorcycle safety throughout our great state of Florida. On social media and so many places in the media, this man is the face of Tampa Police Department, and it's because of something else, which is his values and the kind of man that he is. Simply put, this is a guy who for 30 years has done a tough job where people criticize him, people attack him, people are also very, very thankful, but he takes a lot of tough hits in life and he comes out smiling and being a gentleman and being decent, kind, and compassionate. And that's my kind of person, and I know that's y'all's kind of person as well. He is a man of Tampa who grew up in Forest Hills, a community that loves him. If you ever go out to Forest Hills, Officer Paz is a bit of a mini celebrity there. In fact, they're going to be honoring him at their February 2025 Forest Hills Neighborhood Association meeting because everybody out there loves him so much and the kind of attitude that he brings. He was raised out in Forest Hills with his father and with his mother and his siblings, and would grow up with the kind of values that would make him to become a law enforcement officer. He is a man of service who has also passed that down to his family. That includes his daughter, who was just promoted to lieutenant commander in the Navy and the first female commander of the sub that she's on. If you know this guy, that's no surprise that his kid or kids follow in the footsteps of taking hits for us. He is a man who shows that kindness and compassion and empathy and decency and being polite and being professional has its place in life. There are those of us who have those kind of values but don't take the kind of hits that this man does. He's taken hits for many decades and comes out being a very nice guy. He is, to me, what I call, I'm a big Jimmy Stewart fan. I love the actor. He was a great man. He's a Jimmy Stewart guy. He's a decent person, a very decent person. And I'll end by quoting my favorite movie because it's Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, where Clarence the Angel says, "Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many others. And when he isn't around, it leaves an awful big hole, doesn't he? This is a man whose life has touched so many here in Tampa and will continue to touch lives. He is touching. He is a great man. He is Officer Roy Paz. So I would like to give him, if I may, before we have him up here, a Tampa City Council commendation. First, we'll give you this, sir. Here you go, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. And next, when I think of this painting, this is a Norman Rockwell painting with an officer. When I see this painting, I think about community protector, and that's you. You're a good dude, so that's for you.
Thank you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. And Chief Burkhoff?
No, thank you again, Council, for honoring our best of the best. And you said so much, so eloquently and so best, but two things that resonated with me is his positivity. You know, his positivity is so contagious around the department, and I'm a glass half full, not glass empty kind of guy, and having people like you around makes the department better, makes the city better. And, you know, we always worry about traffic and traffic complaints. This guy is the face of traffic. He's Traffic Tip Tuesday. And if there's anybody out there that's making our traffic better, or at least attempting to, it's you. And you've done so much for the city, so much for the department. There's so many people that you've impacted that we'll have no way of knowing. But you've made the city and the Tampa Police Department a better place. And I'm glad that you'll stay as a reserve and volunteer your time for free now.
Absolutely, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And before we allow you to speak, sir, you speak, and we'd love to have you. I also did want to say something, Council, that we are looking at naming part of the Forest Hills Community Park after this man's late father, who was such a big integral part in civics and in recreation of Forest Hills. So we also have some members of the community who want to honor you for the great man that you are.
Hey, sir. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Unbelievable. They've said it. So you did a phenomenal job, by the way. But on behalf of the Glazer family, our entire organization, thank you. Thank you to you and your family. But congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Much
Thank you
deserved.
very much.
Enjoy it. And they're staying on in the reserve. But we do have a tradition.
Wow.
And if
I saw
anybody-
these football come in. I said, wow, I wonder what those are for.
Anybody deserves a game ball.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Stay safe and congratulations on your
Thank you
retirement.
very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Good morning, Council. Leo Gary and Jason Binder from Bill Curry Ford. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
30 years of all your sacrifice and hard work. We truly appreciate it here at Bill
Thank
Curry
you.
Ford. We want to present to you a gift card and a handwritten letter from Mrs. Curry herself.
Wow, thank you.
And then also free service for your
Oh, my.
maintenance on your vehicle,
Thank
personal
you.
vehicle.
Thank
that
you
is.
so much.
Yeah, and again, congratulations,
Appreciate it.
man.
Thank you
And
so
some other
much.
goodies as well.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you for everything
much.
you've done for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll see you in the store.
Okay.
All right.
Good morning again, Council. Jill Witecki with Tampa Theater. At my house, we've got 2 little girls. We watch Fox 13 every morning. They know you from Traffic Tip Tuesdays. And when I told them that I was coming this morning, that you were retiring, that Officer Roy from TV was retiring, they both said, tell him hi. So
Awesome.
hi from
Thank you.
Cassie and Abby.
Thank you. Thank you.
And from Tampa Theater, now that you've got some time on your hands, we hope you and your wife will come see us a little bit
For
more.
sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't
very
forget, It's a Wonderful Life is playing tonight at 7.
much. Thank you very much.
Good morning again, Council. Hey there, I am Lori Osborne. I'm with the Florida Orchestra, and you're like meeting a celebrity. I'm so impressed with you, and we can't be more proud of you. I've watched your videos. You're with your you're
Yes,
doing your
ma'am.
mustache. You did it. So on behalf of the Florida Orchestra, we would love for you and your family to attend a performance this season. Please stop by, say hi, and in your spare time, just come on over, and we can't
That's wonderful.
wait to
Thank you so
see
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Councilor Paz.
Sir.
Jeff Houck with 1905 Family Restaurants. Thank you again, Council. 30 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it's 121 years for the Columbia Restaurant this week. So we know about longevity.
Yes, sir.
Longevity is based on trust. And if people don't trust you, you have nothing to stand on. And you're obviously a symbol for that trust with the community, and we want to honor you with it. An invitation to come to any of our 1905 family of restaurants and enjoy it with your family. and we thank you for everything you've done for us.
Sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So if you would like to say any words, sir, and again, this is just a real appreciation for a man of decency and strength. We appreciate you, man. We
Sir,
love you.
thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
First of all, very humbling. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And I got to do this without getting choked up, right? And first, I want to thank God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for giving me such a wonderful career. I mean, it has just been fantastic. It is true when they say you never work a day of your life, if you have a job that you love. I haven't worked a day of my life. This has been absolutely awesome. I'd like to thank the chief and staff, and for real, Tampa Police Department is the best agency, and the city of Tampa is the best city in the whole entire country. So I am so grateful, and I just can't thank you all enough. And thank you for everybody here and all the sponsors, okay? I know I'm getting choked up. Hang in there with me, okay? And really, the sponsors, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come down and also recognize the dispatcher that was here and everything. And I just, again, I can't thank you all enough. And Mr. Vieira, Councilman Vieira, you're awesome, okay? I mean it. I can't thank you enough for everything. And Council, thank you so much for everything. Thank you to everybody. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Oh, and if I may say, I want to say thank you to my lovely wife, Vivian.
Stand up, Vivian.
The whole ride, and she was great. So thank you very much.
And I also see our friends with the PBA, Brandon Barclay and John Miller, who are here. And God bless you guys. Okay.
Councilmember Henderson, Councilmember Miranda.
I wish I would have known you earlier. You're just so enthusiastic, and I am just so happy for you and giving God the praise for a wonderful career. Congratulations to you and your family. What are you going to do next?
Oh, I'm joining the reserves with the Tampa Police Department, so you can't get rid of me that easy. And my wife and I are going to do a little traveling, so we're really excited about that. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Councilmember Miranda.
I can only say, in my long time being here, you're the most enthusiastic individual I've ever met in my life. And I can see why you do your job with honor and dignity. And like I always say, a police officer has 1/100 of a second to make a decision, yay or nay. And evidently, you made all the right decisions.
Thank you, sir.
But along that, Luis Vieira, on the first Friday of the month, is a singer at Forest Hills.
Yes, sir.
So you want to listen to somebody who can really not sing, you can listen to Luis Vieira. But he's a great guy and a great council member, and I want to thank you and your family, really. Your family has a lot to do with your success. And I want to say thank you, thank your family, and thank all those that have come by today to say thank you for your many years of service. 30 years is a short time in life, but it blinks twice and it's gone.
Yes, sir.
So I want to thank you for everything you've done on a daily basis, every day, on a smile on your face, and that's why you're the officer who you are. God bless you.
Sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Charlie, he can sing. It just sings badly.
Well,
He sounds like he's killing a cat.
I don't want to go there. He's a great singer in my mind.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to you and your family for all your service in 30 years and all the great things you've done. I share Councilmember Henderson's view that I wish I had known you and worked with you while you were here, but I look forward to getting to know you in whatever your next chapter is. So please stay in touch with us. Anything we can do to help you. It sounds like you should be a motivational speaker. You have so much energy, enthusiasm. I'm sure whatever your next chapter is, it'll be even better than this one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. You're really one of the best, and I'm glad that you're coming onto the reserve, so
Yes.
you'll be sticking around, but
Yes, sir.
congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Carlson, you're up. See you later. Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. All right, Councilman Carlson.
Lots of great. Somebody want to shut the door? Lots of great people here this morning, and one of them is Andy Johnson, who many of us know personally. Almost everybody watching probably knows him from when he was 34 years, is that right, on TV as a meteorologist. And there are a lot of great meteorologists in this area. What makes Andy really special recently is he retired from TV a few years ago, but he continued putting together his own charts and his own analyses, and he posted them during storms. So when we watch TV every day and we see whether it's going to be hot or cold or rainy or not rainy, that's more to figure out what we're going to wear, where we're going to go. But when we're stuck in a storm and we don't know whether we're going to survive, our houses and kids are going to survive, the information meteorologists put out is essential. And during the last two storms, Helene and Milton, many people I know, including me, relied heavily on the pro bono sheets he put together. And one of them clearly showed, it was the first one that I saw, clearly showed exactly what the storm surge impact was going to be. He showed a map, and most of it hit in South Tampa, and it showed exactly what the amount of feet were going to be, and it was exactly right. And nobody had ever seen anything like that before, but he posted it, I reposted it, a whole bunch of people left their houses then, and that could have saved a lot of lives. And so you didn't have to do that, you did it on your own while you were facing the same damage to your own house. So we wanted to thank you for your years of service and also for what you did during the storms. It's a commendation. It says Tampa City Council wishes to award this commendation to Andy Johnson with gratitude for his service to Tampa during the 2024 storm season. With 33 years, maybe now 34, Andy kept the residents of Tampa Bay safe as a meteorologist for WTVT with his calm demeanor, warm smile, and accurate information. The years since his retirement from television, Andy has provided the most up-to-date and accurate storm updates for the city of Tampa as a private citizen. So thank you from City Council and the community for everything you've done. And do you all want to speak, or do you want him to speak first?
Sure.
Do you want to say something?
Well, thank you. First of all, it's very, very kind of you to recognize me. And Tampa has a long history with hurricanes. As I was walking over here this morning to City Hall from the Fort Worth parking garage, there's a plaque, and it's about the McKay family that came here after the 1848 hurricane. And we saw that Milton had a similar track to that 1848 hurricane. Fortunately, it went south of us and affected Sarasota. But my family also came here after that 1848 hurricane, my ancestors. So I have a long history, and then growing up here in Tampa, growing up in a low-lying area on Davis Islands, I had to evacuate my home as a child in 1960 with Hurricane Donna, in 1966 with Hurricane Alma. And that stress and anxiety that I experienced as a child, I understood that, when I grew up, I wanted to be able to understand what causes hurricanes, what causes storm surge, and be able to relay that information to people to kind of relieve their stress. So that was kind of my life goal, and it was part of my family history as well.
And you remind us why we miss you being on TV. But by the way, his friends and family surprised him this morning, so we blindsided him with this. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Here's your. Anybody have anything?
Sure. Anybody? Councilmember Clendenin.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
So not only you're a friend of the Tampa Bay area for being a very popular meteorologist and helping people out for so many years, I count you as a personal friend as well. I appreciate, as Councilman Carlson said, everything that you did during the storms, because I followed you as well, and including text messaging you directly, so I would get specific answers. But I really do want to say, this is just one part of who Andy Johnson is. He's charitable. He supports so many different causes. He has risen to the occasions so many times for others than himself, and he's a great member of our community, and we are lucky to have you as a Tampanian. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Alan. Thank you so much, Bill.
Cool. Congratulations. You're also a personal friend, and Brian as well, for many years, and of course, watching you on TV growing up, you and Roy Lee as a kid, Channel 13 or Big 13 or however you know it, was always on TV. We appreciate you, and certainly on social media, the updates. I mean, you and Dennis Phillips, actually you first, then Dennis Phillips, are the go-to individuals because of we had a quite active hurricane season this year, but you were always there. Again, when we wanted information, I'd check your social media right away, and you were always up to date, very accurate, and very honest. And that's a reputation that you have. So thank you. Thank you for your service to this community. Thank you for your friendship, and thank you for keeping so many of us informed. Councilman Vieira.
Thank you, and my apologies for, like I told Brian, I had to leave during the beginning of this. No, but I'm glad you're being honored, sir, and like Guido, or Councilman or Chairman Maniscalco said, during Milton and Helene, I mean, you're going on those sites with much anxiety and nervousness, and yours provided not necessarily calm, but what we needed to hear, and that's important, and that's an invaluable community service. So, and just for your decades of work and professionalism. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
I appreciate all the warm words. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next up, we have FEMA to provide a presentation on the status of hurricane recovery and assistance efforts. Who is here from FEMA? Okay. Good morning, how are you? Please state your name.
Good morning, Chairman and City Council. My name is Giovanna Garcia, and I'm with External Affairs with FEMA. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here today to provide updates on what we have been doing here at, in the city of Tampa. I was a little bit choked up in the back seeing all the awards and presentations of those that have been working very hard in your community, especially the dispatchers and your police department. They are the eyes and ears and our saviors when it comes to these type of storms that hit your community. My biggest reason why I'm here today is because so far with FEMA, we have awarded close to $1.18 billion towards Milton and Helene. These are funds that have been provided directly to your community, to those that have been impacted, to the city, and to the state. And I've been working very closely with a lot of city council members here, and what I'm seeing out in your community is that the need is still there. I've already had a few meetings or group sessions this past couple of weeks, and we've noticed that there's many people that I still have not registered. That is alarming and concerning to us because there is a notion out there that I'm not going to register because I have insurance, or I might not qualify because I have insurance, or my damages are not substantially more than those that have been probably impacted in certain areas of the community. And that is not simply true. We want everyone that has been impacted by Hurricane Helene and Milton to please take the time to register with us before January 7th, which is the deadline. Aside from that, we have disaster recovery centers in the community. Yes, there's only one in Hillsborough, one in all the counties, 19 counties have been impacted. But those disaster recovery centers it's the open door place for people to really come in and sit face to face. We have the 1-800-621-3362 line that people can call in. But when you have our representatives there at this location, they literally can sit with you and go over exactly what has happened and what damages or updates or uploading documents or questions that they're not getting it resolved quickly. So the most important part of today is letting you know that FEMA is still here. We've been here, boots on the ground since the beginning. We're not leaving. I know that we're coming into some very tough times. Holidays are coming in. It's going to be an enjoyable moment, but also it's going to be very tough for the community that has been impacted. And we're here to really provide a lot of services, resources. FEMA just not comes in and just works at a federal level. We really come in and work with the state, the city, the county, and your resources, which is your nonprofit organization and your houses of worship. Our job is to basically everything starts locally, ends locally, and that's our goal to continue to provide those messaging. Very quickly, there's a disaster recovery center that, yes, it will be closing down tomorrow, but the state is working very hard to find another location, and we're doing our best to make sure that location is open immediately. Once we identify that location, information will be provided to you so you can go ahead and pass that on to your constituents, let them know that there will be a disaster recovery center in the neighborhood. Also, we would like people to, if they're looking for the Disaster Recovery Center, to actually just text 43362 and text in the message DRC, and it will bring them to exactly to a Disaster Recovery Center in the area. We have been seeing a lot of media out there in regards to sheltering, in regards to transitional sheltering, rental assistance. That's all still being provided. We have over 42,000 people that have received direct transitional shelter assistance, and those that are in the verge of, we're not saying that they're being kicked out. Actually, they were reassessing things because we're waiting for a lot of different, every case is different. We're just waiting for more information to come out. What we're telling people is that come to us directly and we will guide you. We work very closely with the American Red Cross, who has funding to provide rental assistance and other resources to people. Along with the Small Business Administration, who's been working very coincide with us, yes, we understand that the funding is still up in the air, but we are encouraging people to still directly go with the Small Business Administration, what is catered not only to the businesses, but it's also catered to renters, homeowners, and everyone who's been impacted by the disaster. If you find eligible with the Small Business Administration with a small interest loan or interest rate, it will be another resource for people to start the recovery process. Again, as I mentioned to some of the city council members, our biggest goal is to really work hand in hand with everyone. In the last 3 open sessions that we've had, what we call pop-up in your community, we have serviced over 155 family households that had still no idea exactly what we're doing out in the community. And again, it's very alarming. It's very hard for us to continue to see this. And we are asking that if you are coming across any obstacles, any issues, so please bring it to our attention immediately. I know that I get a lot of inquiries from some of the city council, and inquiries meaning that we'll get a constituent calling in saying, listen, I'm getting some backlash, or I'm not getting the calls back, or I get right on top of that, and we try to resolve it immediately. So again, yeah, so aside from that, today you'll receive a news release that will also mention that there has been $1 billion awarded for public assistance out in your community. And that money usually goes towards infrastructure, schools, recreational centers, those infrastructures that have been impacted by the storm. So that's another goal that we saw that actually will be illustrated today out to the community. So people know that not only are we working with individuals that were impacted directly, but we're also working with the places, or the places that people go into, your schools, your churches, your hospitals, your different buildings, and all the infrastructures that have been hit by Helene and Milton. So just to end this today, just want to give you a couple of numbers and information on FEMA. You can call us directly again, 1-800-621-3362. We have our representatives on the line that speak various languages. We also, you can go on disasterassistance.gov. It's another way of also receiving information, uploading, applying, just getting the day-to-day of what's going on in your community with Helene and Milton. You can go on and text 43362 DRC. You will be able to find a location in the area. And aside from that, you can actually contact your local officials and everyone in the community, and they'll be able to reach us very quickly, and we can come out and actually speak with everyone. Again, this community is a very, very diverse community. I have met members from the Congo, Sudan, Togo, Haiti, the Latino community, very high population here, and just the simple fact of being able to provide direct services to those communities has been great for the city of Tampa.
Thank you very much. Councilman Vieira.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Ms. Garcia, for being here today and all the work that you've done. I know we've been together at a number of meetings before. I remember the earliest one, I think, was at Crossover Church. I had one, I think, 4 days after the storm in Forest Hills, and then maybe 5 or 6 days later, a crossover. And, you all sat with 20, 30, 40 people, if not more, and just individually went over their cases, their applications, et cetera. And, you know, and I know we're looking at having another one on potentially December 30th, and we're trying to find a location because of the January 7th cutoff date. And what you said is so important that we all need to amplify the fact that you have the cutoff for FEMA coming up on January 7th of next year. And that is so important, not just for city residents, but throughout the 1.6 million folks who live in Hillsborough County. I think about our friends in East County, Plant City, Waimama. A lot of that area out there has just been devastated and struck, including a lot of people who maybe aren't as connected to what's happening and what's going on as others are. Town and Country obviously hit a great deal. Our friends in South Tampa, obviously we've heard from a lot, very, very hit and devastated. And of course, my district in North Tampa, we've been in constant contact with that and everything, and that's very, very important. So again, I just really wanted to thank you for all of the work that you all have done. I've seen it, and you bring partners out there with you like the Small Business Administration, the Red Cross, different organizations, and do a lot of work and everything. So again, I just wanted to thank you for all the work you do. And I did want to ask you a question, if I may, which is traditionally with FEMA, you work with local governments, with state governments, in providing assistance to people. That includes the Small Business Administration, that includes local government, that includes state government, correct?
That is correct. So when we do come on board to a disaster, and we come in, we work directly with the state, we work with the city, with the county. Now we also bring in our federal partners, whether it's the Small Business Administration, USDA, we bring in the Veterans the VA, all different levels of the federal government does come in on board in the beginning of the disaster. And then when we continue to work the event, we'll see exactly what other needs the federal government can continue to assist us with. As far as, for example, in the Polk County area, in those areas, they're working with the Farmers Recovery type of grant programs available. But not only that, again, we work with your resources of your community as well. I mean, we also bring in Catholic Charities, Samaritan's First, American Red Cross. These are all big entities that are able to come in and provide quick response to the community and provide resources. And resources not only is sheltering, food, but it's also monetary resources, because in the beginning of a disaster, you're always looking for a quick way of being able to start your recovery process. It's a very it's a hard situation for people to be in. We see it all the time. Everyone that comes through FEMA comes from all over the country. And not only that, we start to look into hiring people in our area as local hires to be able to bring people from your community to work with FEMA, but not only that, uplift the economy in your community by providing more jobs through FEMA and through other entities here. And we work very closely with the houses of worship, because they're the key, and they're the people that, the place that people can really go and trust. Who else than your pastors, your other local agencies like the NAACP, Urban League, the YMCA, the Parks Recreation, Port of Tampa, who's been working with us as well. Again, we work locally, we work with the federal, state, county, locals as well.
Great, thank you. Yeah, because I know that the county is looking at a plan of assistance. The city is. I'm trying to talk to some of our state representatives and state senators on what the state of Florida can additionally do for this area, because obviously it's going to pack a wallet. But again, thank you for all that you do. You've been a great partner in this, and it's a very fulfilling work. But I thank you, ma'am.
Again, thank you for allowing me to be here. I mean, as you mentioned, Plant City, Town and Country, Waimama, or City of Tampa, everywhere. I've been really in every single area and working also with the unincorporated. And it's very hard to, the job that we do is not an easy job, but our job, we put our hearts into it to make sure that we really touch and make an impact in everyone who's been hurt by this.
Yeah, this is one of the combined storms was one of the worst disasters that ever hit Tampa, and in particular South Tampa. Thousands of homes were hit, and people think that everybody in South Tampa has a multi-million-dollar home, but firsthand that many of them can't even afford insurance. And there are families that have been in their homes for 4 or 5 generations and couldn't afford insurance, but they have inherited the home, so they're able to stay in there. And we have hundreds of those. And then we have the missing middle housing that's there that was wiped out in many neighborhoods. It's just horrible. And in the first couple weeks, my office was inundated with calls. We had hundreds and hundreds of calls
and emails, and we were fielding them. And at first there was a lot of anger toward FEMA because people had the website and they had the telephone. And then, I don't know, somewhere around 2 weeks, Giovanna showed up and things started to change. And I don't remember exactly when you showed up, but when you did with your colleagues, you guys started going door to door, and you kept me updated about what you were doing and what neighborhood, and we were out there in the neighborhoods on the ground as well. It's just an overwhelming feeling, and you do this for a living all over the place, so you see this everywhere. For us, it's the first time I've ever seen anything like this in Tampa. I mean, people with their homes completely destroyed and all their goods from their houses out on their curbs, and it was so bad that we couldn't even pick it all up at first, and then in addition to all the other problems. But I want to, in particular, I want to thank Giovanna and her team for all the assistance. When a constituent has an issue, I forward it to her. She handles it. I also want to thank Kathy Castor's office, who was helping before then. They dealt with a lot of ones. And in particular, I want to thank Giovanna and her team. We held a town hall meeting, like a South Tampa town hall meeting, although we had people as far away as St. Pete, I think, and Clearwater come. And it was at the Garden Club just the week before Thanksgiving. And it was co-sponsored by the Garden Club, Cafe Con Tampa, THAN, and the South Tampa Chamber. And it was really a joint community thing. And FEMA brought resources from SBA, all kinds of different things, and they set up stations. And we stayed till the end, and you see this all the time, but seeing people who were terrified, sad, frustrated walk in, and then walking out, almost everyone had tears in their eyes because you will help them. And I was so happy, you were so happy. I was wondering, like, how can you put up with all this disaster every day? But seeing people's faces happy that you helped them has got to be incredibly rewarding, and it must be what helps you to go on. And so I so appreciate that, and I've sent you some more in the last few days. And the last thing I'll say is, she sounds like she's lived in Tampa forever, but she just parachuted in like 2-3 months ago, and she knows everything already because she's been going door to door. So look forward to continuing to work with you and your colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
We appreciate it.
thank you, Councilman. I just wanted to just say that, the job that we do, it's not an easy job. It's not. It's really hard because a lot of us, we do have to, we leave our families behind, and we put all our heart into when we come to a disaster. And just a simple fact, I mean, just yesterday and even during your event, when just to see the person just get the assistance immediately, see them in tears, it brings me tears. I've been crying all week, and this is why I wear mascara. I was here for Irma, and I was here for Ian. And when I was here for Irma, I was assisting in trying with those evacuees coming in from Puerto Rico, and also with the storm. Now, I was at one this location, this recreational place, and it brought me back to when back then we were discussing about what would happen if something were to hit Tampa. And that's why we have in place long-term recovery groups. These long-term recovery groups come in and work with your other agencies, your other nonprofits, to basically strategize, think about things what they can do to mitigate and assist, and so that if something were to happen, God forbid, but something were to happen again, then you will be much more prepared than where you were with Helene and Milton. So back then, that was a talk that was being done in Irma. And when I came back again, Ian, I was up in the Volusia County, but when I came down here, it just brought me to a little bit more emotional because I was here just not too long ago, and seeing people that are still without, it's hurtful. But our job is to make sure that we do our best, and we won't leave her until we get it done.
Thank you. And will you be out here to answer any questions for anybody that has any?
That is correct. I will be in the room on to your right. There's a room set up for us, and I'll just be there to answer questions or any concerns in regards to FEMA or any of the entities that are working directly with us.
Thank you very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you so much.
Could I just say again, she said this, but if anybody watching wants to contact her, email us at City Council, we can connect her with.
Thank you very much. All right, we begin public comment. We have approximately 1 hour of public comment. I will call up people a few at a time. Our first speaker is going to be Pam Canella, followed by Virginia Smith and Michael, it looks like Rodriguez. Michael T. Rodriguez is what I see. Pam Canella, you're the first speaker, followed by Virginia Smith. Come on up. Please state your name. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
Good morning. I have some pictures for you. 9? Is that right, or do I need 9? I do. I've been busy. Is it good? Yes, thank you. You come up. My name is Pam Canella. I can start, right?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
My concerns are that Tampa's rapid development has led to the neglect of our infrastructure. Our stormwater drainage system is suffering from lack of maintenance. There are those who continue to support more density and with it more development. Then there are the neighborhood residents who say enough. We are the real experts. We know the challenges and problems firsthand as we experience them daily. This makes the residents of their neighborhood the most informed source about their area. We are asking the city to direct your attention to the inspection, repair, and maintenance of our existing stormwater drainage system. I feel the city budget needs to be adjusted to give more money to our stormwater department so that these issues can be addressed. During my recent walk along Bayshore, you don't have to go that fast. Slow down. Go back. I noticed our drainage pipes that drain into the bay were crusted and eroded and filled with mud. There were so many cracks in our seawall, I lost count. Then I noticed these large cracks were seeping water as the tide had gone out. And I mean, it was really out, and there was still water coming out of these cracks. This left me very concerned. Seeping water in a seawall leads to eroding soil behind the seawall, under sidewalks and roads, causing instability and potential collapse and separation of the sidewalk from the concrete columns, as shown in the pictures that haven't come up yet, but they will. And water seeps also underground, causing voids and erosion, leading to even larger structural issues, such as what is happening in Miami and other areas in South Florida. Maintenance is the key factor in prevention. And to my knowledge, the last time the major renovation was done on Bayshore was in 1994. I just want to make sure that we're watching what's going on because it didn't look good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Virginia Smith, followed by Michael Rodriguez and Ryan Barris. Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Please state your name.
Good morning. Virginia Smith. I'm here to talk about traffic flow in Tampa. We implore to you as citizens, the City Council, to look at our traffic congestion issues. Timing of the lights from I'm not a traffic engineer, I don't pretend to be, but traffic of lights from one intersection to consecutive intersections to keep the flow of traffic going is not consistent. I mean, there's no thought to that, I don't feel. Putting more left turn arrows on many lights would help. We only get 2 cars through every left turn. That means you wait through another light cycle. Meanwhile, the cars are backing up behind you. With all the back lanes and on-street parking that we've added to our city, our lanes of travel have been stripped down to fewer lanes. That means more traffic backing up. Cars are backed up, 20 to 30 cars sometimes on residential through streets. I was on Morrison Avenue the other day and I counted the number of cars. There were 30 cars from Macdill to Howard Avenue. And they were all waiting for that Howard traffic light that doesn't have a left turn signal on it, that 2 cars go through each time. These are just, people can't get around. It takes you 20 minutes to get from Plant High School to Bayshore. It's ridiculous. So we need to do something with our traffic because it's even getting worse as more people move to Tampa. I've noticed it mostly in the season where we have a lot of people come down for the winter and then they have their relatives come down. You can't even move for like an hour to get from one little part to the other. And that may be in South Tampa that I'm noticing it, but I'm sure there's other areas of the city that are having the same problems. I don't know about, North Tampa, because I don't go up that way, but I think we need to look at our traffic engineering or something. I'm not sure what department. It's also a problem for emergency vehicles. When you have 30 cars on Morrison Avenue and somebody has a heart attack over on Howard, how are you going to get to them? Or how are you going to get them to Memorial Hospital? These are two-road highways with bike lanes and everything else. There's no getting these emergency vehicles to where they need to go. We are at a total traffic standstill. Something else to consider is the density. That's what's causing a lot of it too. And I was looking off of Zeal Avenue the other day and saw 20 new units going up on two lots that used to have two houses on them. So we have 20 units, everybody has cars, on two lots that used to have two houses on them. So I think we need some kind of density cap on some of this, I don't know. And then my last question is the Selman Expressway. We have a wonderful expressway, and we only have two entries, one at Willow and one way down at Euclid, Beta Bay and Euclid, and there's no entries to get on there.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Michael Rodriguez, Ryan Barris, Connie Burton. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning, council members. My name is Mike Rodriguez. I'm a resident of 4209 Westdale Avenue. I find it interesting that I'm here following FEMA and the conversations about flooding in South Tampa. Our home is, first of all, I'm new to South Tampa. I'm a former Miami resident, and I'm well aware of the flooding issues that they have in Miami. And I'm well aware of the fact that you all know what's going on, but I thought it was important to share our unique situation. So our home is west of Lois, and it slopes, it's Dale is the name of the street, and it slopes down from the Dale on the other side of Lois. So all of this water rushing in from Lois, from Dale, comes down our street. There's not adequate flooding, storm protection, storm mitigation. So it all lands basically in Beach Park, on the corner of Beach Park and Hubert. During the past two storms, we saw damage. Our neighbors are here, and I'm sure they'll testify to the damage we've had. And we've called and asked the city to help. We've gotten mediocre response. And there's a lot of money in homes, personal property, care, things of unique value to people that have been destroyed because of this flood water. So, and it's not limited to a major storm event. This happens in any rainstorm. Floods in the backyard, floods in the front of the house, flood inside garages. And I'm just appealing to you as a council to give this area some attention that's deserved and help the residents in that area to feel free that if it's a summer day in July and it's raining, that we're not going to have a flood in our neighborhood. Do you have any questions for me? No. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ryan Barris. I do not see Ryan. Connie Burton. Yes, ma'am. Come on up. Please state your name. Followed by Valerie Bullock and Kenya Ramirez. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Connie Burton. My comments is going to center back around to item number 39. I just want to lay out that 46 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, we saw the establishment of Bama Height that offered home ownership and public housing, but we saw a collective community. We further saw the continual build in that community that brought about Northview Hills, Grant Park, Highland Pine, and on and on and on. We had effective leadership that had an understanding that for the community to grow, we could not sow seeds of division. We had effective organization, Urban League as being one that moved away not just from job training like we see now, because our community is being bombarded with certificates of training, but through the Urban League and wonderful leadership of Ellis York, we had people that was able to place people in jobs because along with the training, people need to have ongoing resources. They need to be able to be financially stable to take care of their family. We don't see that now. So what I'm concerned with the amount of money that we have now in our current CRA budget, what we have these small increments of movement. Item number 53, 10 townhomes when we need 10 times, and 10 times more of that should be affordable for the community. We see, and not bashful to say it, how individual people from our community, the black middle class in particular, can appeal to this council and immediately a response. I'm thinking about AAA Construction. Came and made a complaint to this council in October, how they was not being denied infill lots. And to their credit this morning, they're gonna get an infill lot inside of our community. No complaint against them because they know how to advocate. But who's advocating for the majority of our people that need housing assistance in our community? Wonderful programs such as the Challenge Fund back in the day that gave people opportunity. Right now, we do not have that opportunity. We have a lot of infill lots inside of East Tampa that could be given to the community and individuals could move forward. But for some reason, this administration and council continue to remain stagnant. As if coming out of our predicament of enslavement that we can't figure out these solutions. We know what's best for us. And in the racial reconciliation, we see where there's a small portion in there talking about youth opportunity. Let me tell you right now, inside of our community, we have an abundance of young people that is going through homelessness, suspension, because of the lack of a foundation.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Miss Valerie Bullock, Kenya Ramirez, Gary Gibbons.
Good morning, Valerie Bullock from Ponce de Leon College Hill. I want to talk about the housing situation in East Tampa and how you all, the city council and the city of Tampa, inadvertently contribute to the gentrification and the homelessness. All of the new apartments that I've seen, they say 80% of the median income. And that is good for the people that's making 80%. But in my neighborhood, the people that's making 20, 30, and 40%, they're not able to move in like that. And we need to think about lowering the affordability from 80% to like 40% in East Tampa. Because the 80%, I almost can qualify that. And a lot of people coming from out of the town and out of the neighborhood, they're moving in at the 80% level. But the people in my neighborhood who's still on food stamps, who's making minimum wage, and who's staying in a house with 4 and 5 generations, they're not given that opportunity. They start with the highest, and it might be 1 or 2 people. I followed the Adderley with Blue Sky. The man, he came in here, he said every $1 the city give them, they can make $42 off of it. They built the apartment on Nebraska and Waters. I emailed everybody in Sulphur Spring, called, went out there and knocked on the people who I know doors. I say the new apartments are going up. They're going to be some based on your income, and they're supposed to be affordable housing. None of the people who applied was able to get in there. So we are still being left out, and that's something we need to look into. Look at the data. If you don't believe me, look at the data and see how many people from that neighborhood is able to move into those apartments, and what's the percentage rate for the people that make 80%, 40%, or 30% of the median income. The people in my neighborhood, they are being left out. And we have to do something about that. We are the original people in New Tampa. Miss Mary, she held it down when we was out there on drugs. Our children then going to the foster system because she babysitted for us for about 5 years. And then you had people who would talk to you and encourage you, and they'll talk to the dope boys. Don't do that in our neighborhood. And these are the same people and their descendants who are being left out. It's like we are building East Tampa and we are making it beautiful with the roundabout, the houses, and the beautiful art, but it's not for you all. So that's something we need to look into. Nobody wants to stay in a house where you have 4 and 5 generations and you see houses being built, you see stores being opened up. We are not allowed to work at those stores, and we are not allowed to buy those houses because we don't meet the qualifications. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Kenya Ramirez, Gary Gibbons, and Robert Yunes. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
Hi, good morning, Council. My name is Kenya Ramirez. I am speaking on behalf of CLK Remodeling for the lot disposition for the affordable housing, and I just wanted to say that we are greatly appreciated that you guys are taking the initiative to provide this program for people that are in need of affordable housing, and we are very happy and excited to be possibly partaking in this program. And again, thank you, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gary Gibbons, Robert Yunes, and Paula Galetkinitz.
Good morning, Council. My name is Gary Gibbons. I am here as the chair of the Community Stepping Stones, and I brought with me our staff members here and board members as well, but I'm really here on behalf of these kids. We were hoping to be able to thank you for getting the funding for our program that was approved in the budget. And we were told that we were going to be on the agenda this morning, but on Tuesday we found out that we were not on the agenda. We had previously been told that we were going to be on the agenda on December 5th. So the 5th, the 19th, and now what's the next date? Is it January 9th? My request is please, please help us get on the agenda for the next meeting. We have the same fiscal year as the city. It started in October 1st. Our costs are continuing every day, and cash flow is our biggest problem. And until we can get these funds in, it's really, really hurting us. So my plea is, look for these kids, help us deliver what we're supposed to do, and please get us on the agenda for the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Robert Yunes, Paula, and Jason Marlowe. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning.
Wait.
Sorry. One more thing.
Come to the podium, sir.
We passed out a copy of our newsletter, and on the second page of that is one of the pieces that our kids have made that's hanging now at the North Tampa Library. And we see that there's a blank wall in the back here. We would love to be able to put that up when we take it down from the library, if you would like to accept that.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Robert Yunes, or Young, I'm sorry, sir. Paula, and then Jason Marlowe. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Robert Young. I live at 4203 West Dale Avenue, and I've lived here since 1994. And I'm simply here to ask that you keep our neighborhood and beach park on your mind as you're considering the various flooding and stormwater issues that are plaguing the city. One of the biggest problems I see, and I have two I want to talk about, is water piling up on South Lois Avenue. There's a natural ridge up towards South Clark, which is a block east of Lois, but there are no drain inlets or stormwater pipes on De Leon, on Dale, or on Horatio, or even on Lois between Swan and Azeel to catch any of that water and properly divert it to a stormwater system. It piles up in the streets, it runs over the driveways, it runs around the homes on Lois into the backyards, creating a giant flooding issue in the backyards. And it's also, the streets have become the primary source for the water, which is not intended at all by the city's own stormwater manual. The stormwater manual says that the stormwater inlet should capture 100% of the water that's being on the streets. And right now, the streets themselves are the main thoroughfare. The other issue is just to talk about potentially cleaning out or at least inspecting and evaluating the capacity of the stormwater pipes in our neighborhood, specifically around Woodmere, between Hubert and Manhattan, and then over to Robin Lane and over to Beach Park Drive. This seems to be a settling area where the water does not seem to continue flowing out towards Swan Park and out into the bay. And this is not just with this hurricane. I've been there for 30 years, and I feel like every year I'm taking a picture of rising water coming up Dale and settling around Hubert and Woodmere. I've had catfish in our backyard once coming up from the storm system. An engineered neighbor of mine tells me that the stormwater pipe in his yard is 12 inches wide, which is well below the standard. So I'm asking you to take a look at our systems in there and see what you can do to help us out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Paula is the next speaker, followed by Jason Marlowe. Yes, ma'am. Please state your name.
Paula Gillikanich.
Go
Good
ahead.
morning. I live in Beach Park with my family in a 1959 home that was flooded for the first time since it was built by Hurricane Milton. Sadly, we believe that our home, as many others in Tampa, could have been saved if proper drainage maintenance and planning was done. I would like to show you some images of the canals, ditches, drains located around Swan Circle and Hubert Avenue. I've been living in this neighborhood for 7 years, and I've never seen any maintenance to ensure the proper flow of water. The canal is always with trash and shows evidence of vegetation overgrowth and buildup of dirt and leaves. This confirms the lack of maintenance and care by the city. During Milton, there were mattresses and debris in our canals, which blocked the flow of water and caused a difference in water levels between the east and west sides. This potentially was an issue that caused the flooding of many homes, as there was a reverse surge and water should have flown to the bay, but was clearly blocked. You can see there the whole buildup of vegetations. And in addition, I would like to bring to your attention an urgent need to review the current stormwater structure in the Hubert Avenue, Woodmere, Dale Avenue, Beach Park Drive, and Lois area. When we have rain, water flows down from De Leon Street over Lois Avenue. As you can see, this is a map that shows the inlets and drains that are pretty much what my neighbor just mentioned, non-existent. And all this flow of water accumulates in this area here. The water then flows down Beach Park Drive to the corner of Hubert Avenue. Our streets becomes a river, and water accumulates and overloads our drains. This is on top of a system that is already poorly maintained. I would like to show you a video of one of the drains on my property bubbling with water on what was just a regular rainfall. This was September 3rd, the video that you're able to see there. With each storm, the water backs up more. And again, the lack of maintenance, we're facing constant issues. This is the corner of Beach Park Drive with Hubert. As you can see, the water flows down with Hubert to that corner that my neighbor was mentioning about. You see a car stranded with a person there. This was the next day, September 4th. TPD need to go to all the way up my driveway to rescue someone that was stranded in that same area. Beach Park pays a high amount of taxes, and I urge the council and the city to immediately take actions in these concerns. We need emergency cleaning and maintenance of the current system and an urgent review of and planning and solutions for the drainage system within the Huber Avenue, Woodmere, Dale Avenue, Beach Park Drive, and Lois area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jason Marlowe, Pastor Williams, Linda Salcena. Linda Salcena, I think.
Yeah,
has
she just
already
left.
Go
So I'll be
ahead.
really quick. Jason Marlowe, very proud to be working with Community Stepping Stones. Just want to say basically that if the city's going to have nonprofit processes through its social action funds, these processes should be streamlined, not made more Byzantine and labyrinthine. If the goal is for these social action funds to be positively assisting nonprofits in the community, we should try and find ways to get those monies to these organizations rather than hold them up. You know, we can't make a positive difference without your support, and we are extremely gracious for your support. But obviously, you know, we can't do what we want to do without the funds that we need from y'all. So thank you guys very, very much for your time, and have a wonderful Thursday.
Thank you very much, sir. Pastor Frank Williams. Pastor Williams, sir. Followed by Sarai Hurtado and Ms. Robin Lockett.
Pastor William don't want to do nothing but tell y'all Merry Christmas, and y'all have a Happy New Year, and we pray to God to bless each and every one of you. Thank God. That's all I got to say. I'm out of here.
Thank you very much, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Sarai Hurtado and Robin Lockett, Cassidy Kreider.
Good morning, Council. Thank you for having me. My name is Sarai Nava Hurtado. I'm the ED, Executive Director at Community Stepping Stones. I have been in contact with the Social Action Fund, the manager for our contract, trying to get that in and get the funding to have our programs for our children in the area of Sulphur Springs. Your support is greatly appreciated, and there is urgency. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. All right, Robin Lockett, Cassidy Kreider, Ximena Avila.
Good morning, Council. Robin Lockett. So if everyone noticed, traffic is bad. We're still in a housing crisis. Rent is still high. People are displaced out of their homes and so forth. I was looking at the agenda and number 94, the resolution around the memorandum of understanding with HART. I spoke about this before. I think it's a great idea that you're relieving pressure from people in the smallest way with a bus ride. I think that the city should continue to go down the path of having, number one, free for a year. You have college students out there. You have people that drive in to Sulphur Springs. It will increase, hopefully, the bus route. I was a bus rider, and as a single mom. But I think that is for the city to go down this route in regards to keeping it, the bus route number one free for a year. I think that's good. We're still in a housing crisis. TICO is raising the rates on the news with all the fights. They're saying $10, but it'll probably be $15, $20. So every little bit, groceries are high. Every little bit that can help someone, we may not even know who they are, but it's someone that rides that bus that can get the benefit out of it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Cassidy Kreider, Ximena Avila, Dr. Carolyn Collins, Mentesnot. Yes, ma'am, please state your name.
Good morning, Council. My name's Cassidy Kreider. I am the Program Director at Community Stepping Stones. I made the newsletters that got passed out to y'all earlier. I am just here to stress the importance of our program and how much your funding and all the other investors' fundings do help us out for the kids that are in our program. So thank you guys, and that is all.
Thank you very much. Ximena Avila, Dr. Collins, Mentesnot.
Hello, council members. My name is Jimena Avila, and I live on Beach Park Drive, a couple houses down from Paula, and our house was flooded recently. We've lived in Tampa since 2007, and in our area, definitely you can tell that every year it gets worse. Obviously, Hurricane Milton was once in a 100-year storm, but with our climate changing and our oceans temperature rising, this is not the first of many to come. And so what I'm asking for the city to look at is not only what already our neighbor said, please look at the area to make sure that it's maintained, but can we as a community look at preventive measures for this? What do we need to do as a city to look at South Tampa, to look at Town and Home, to be able to face what's going to be coming next? And I don't know what you guys are doing, what kind of projects are in the works for that, but the more that we know about it, if, as community members, if we can support that, I think the key to the survival of our city is to be much more proactive, much more preventive in maintenance, in looking at different ways to do storm surge with technology that we have today. Let's put it to use. You know, how can we have better modeling? How can we have different kind of water collections? What kind of subsidies can there be to help those houses that are low-lying, not only of communities that have more income, but also we talked about the South Tampa areas that, you know, people didn't have insurance. You know, there's floodgates. Can FEMA or the city subsidize and help those individuals that have houses that are low-lying with subsidies for floodgates without having to say you have to raise your house or you have to basically destroy your house and build up new? That's what I'm asking the city. Can we please look at projects that can be more proactive and more preventive, as well as obviously looking at our specific area, because we do have a huge problem. When it rains, it floods, and it's not just Milton. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Collins, Montesna, and that concludes public comment. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
Good morning. Carolyn Collins, and I came just to be here. I chair the Jackson House Board, a foundation board, and I wanted to make sure that any time that any of the councilmen would like to reach out to us, we are here. But I'm glad I was here this morning because I'm going to deviate. I was just here to sit. I just signed in. But I've heard this discussion, and I know that the Carver City Lincoln Garden community is quite concerned about flooding. I've been there for over 50 years. We have never had flooding on Lois Avenue. We are now flooding on Lois Avenue, and it's impacting the cars, and it's impacting the residents on both sides. Traffic, we have probably 30 to 40. There's only a couple of hours of the day that we have access. Of course, you guys know we had 4 entrance and exits into Carver City. Now we have 2. You've closed us out where we can't get out on Cypress, and we can no longer get out on Dale Mabry. So while the community is talking about flooding, storm water drainage problems, transportation, please affordable housing, and things of that nature, I would say to you as the Jackson House Foundation Board of Directors, we too not only advocate for the Jackson House, but we advocate for improvements in the city of Tampa Fall. And to each of you, a happy holiday.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That concludes public comment. All right, we're going to break for lunch at noon today. Just want to make that announcement. At this time, we're going to take item 71. As I mentioned earlier, can I get a motion to open the public hearing? The 10 o'clock. I'll do it now. It doesn't matter. Let's motion to open the public hearing from Councilmember Clendenin. Who's the second? Second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. It's a non-quasi-judicial proceeding. This is just for item 71. I'm sorry. It is a quasi-judicial. So please come up here, raise your right hand, and we'll swear you in.
do.
I do.
All right, Ms. Dock, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 71 is AB 22430. This is for the property at 2506 South Macdill Avenue. The request is for alcoholic beverage sales of small venue classification, consumption on premise, and package sales consumption off premise. And this is for beer, wine, and liquor. Site plan changes were required to be made between first and second reading. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions? All right, I see none. Yes, ma'am, please state your name.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Keller-Kelly from the law firm of Older, Lundy, Koch, and Martino, 1000 West Cash Street, Tampa, Florida. I don't have too much to add. Essentially, we are here on behalf of the applicant to amend an AB2 approval at 2506 South Macdill. I thank the council for hearing this item out of order, and I also appreciate the unanimous vote upon first reading. As we stated, we sent revised plans in. Other than that, we appreciate your approval today, and I'm here to answer any other questions.
Any questions? If not, I'll ask for public comment. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 71? Motion closed. We have a motion closed from Councilmember Condon. Do we have a second? Second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Councilman Miranda, would you mind reading 71?
Chairman, item number 71, file number AB2/24-30. Ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption on ordinance approving a special use permit SU for alcohol beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premise, package sales, consumption off premise, and make it lawful to sell a beverage regardless of alcohol content, beer, wine, and liquor at or from that certain plot or tract of land located at 2506 South Macdill Avenue, and more particularly described in section 3, providing that all ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict are repealed, repealing ordinance number 2012-63, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. All right, items 5 and 6 are reappointments by the mayor for Rick Rollins to the Human Rights Board, and then Bill Truitt to the Human Rights Board. Do we have a motion? Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilman Vieira. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. We're going to go to the consent agenda. Councilmember Vieira, items 8 through 10.
So move. Second.
7 is going to be heard with 83. Yeah. We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Henderson.
Yes, Chair, I move, for the Neighborhood and Community Affairs Committee, I move items 11 through 20.
Yes, ma'am. We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Hurtak.
Yes, I move items number 21 through 26.
We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I have to abstain on number 38, and my company does not work with the companies that are directly affected by this, but a client of our firm may benefit from it, and so in abundance of caution, I'm going to recuse myself. May I make a motion to receive my Form 8B, please?
We have a motion to receive and file. Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. All right. Councilmember Miranda, will you take 27 through 41 with the exception of 38?
Yes, sir. Move item 27 through 41, the exception of 38.
We have a motion and a second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. And Councilmember Miranda, will you take 38 as a separate motion?
38, this is a agreement really between two entities. It has a CIP-CIS program. It's a resolution of the City of Tampa authorizing commercial property. I move number 38.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. And
Motion carried with Carlson abstaining.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Carlson, you're up with the exception of 47.
42 through 46 with the exception of 47.
We have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember. Okay, and then 48 through 56, right? All right.
Yeah, 42 through 46 with the exception of 46.
Through 56.
What did I say, 46?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor? Aye. And 47 we already discussed is going to come up in the future, so. Councilmember Clendenin, 57 through 63.
Move items 57 through 63.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item number 64, may I have a motion to schedule that for February
moved,
2025
Chairman.
at 1:30? We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to go through our non-quasi judicial public hearings. We already took care of 71, so first up is 65.
Good morning, Council. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Item 65 is TACPA 2408. This is second reading for a map amendment for the sites located at 3901 and 3905 North Ola Avenue and 3904 North Dartmouth Avenue. The request is to change the future land use from residential 10 to residential 20. You voted to approve this amendment at your meeting on November 21st. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Collins? I see none. Is there an applicant for, oh, no, there isn't. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak? Oh, sir, you are the applicant, right? Come on up. Do you have anything to add, sir?
I do not.
All right, is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak? I see no one. There's no one registered. Motion closed from Councilman Clendenin. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Hurtak. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilman Vieira, would you mind reading 65?
Yes, sir. I move an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property located at 3901 and 3905 North Ola Avenue and 3904 North Dartmouth Avenue in residential 10, R10 to residential 20, R20, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
We have a second from Councilmember Clendenin. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I, voted no, and I'm hoping that I can convince a few council members to follow me besides Mr. Miranda. When the applicant made his presentation, he, said there was a clear marking in his presentation that said that there is a struggle for affordable housing, and I believe Mr. Miranda asked him, well, what is affordable? And he said $600,000. And so, in doing my little homework, you would have to make $175,000 a year in order to afford a $600,000 house. And so this means that essentially the argument for the missing middle is simply just not true. This is not the transportation corridor of Tampa Heights. There's not a desperate need for housing in Tampa Heights because of what is coming and things that we've already voted on. So, we can dispute that aspect as well. And there are hundreds of housing being built along the transportation corridor, in which, of course, all those people stood before us and did not present affordable housing, as developers did not set aside for affordability as well. So that's not necessarily the case that this is being done for that reason. And so I, support the Planning Commission as well as our staff that this is inconsistent. This is not the place to increase density because it sits in a single-family residential neighborhood. And when this pattern happens in other areas of town, yes, about 5 or 6 people came and spoke against it, but if we're here till 1 and 2 in the morning because the other neighbors don't want this level of density coming to their house, to their neighborhood, they seem to get the victory. So I'm fighting for the people who came before you. I'm fighting on behalf of even our civic association who did not support this pattern of development, and especially because the applicant insisted that he was doing it for affordable reasons, and that's just simply not true. It's not there. This is not the place. I do believe that there are opportunities to create the missing middle, but this particular aspect of the community, if you look at the map, it's just not this particular part of the community. It's well-established single-family homes, and if we change the land use, the future land use, then there is no guarantee, what's going to come before us if it goes to an R20. So that's why I'm not supporting it, although I do believe in the missing middle, but I believe the missing middle should also be affordable.
Councilmember Hurtak. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second. Please record your vote.
Motion carried with Miranda and Henderson voting no.
Thank you very much. Item number 66.
Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is item number 66. This is second reading for an ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan Capital Improvement section by replacing the fiscal year 2024 through fiscal year 2028 capital improvement section schedule of projects, and replacing that with the fiscal year 2025 through fiscal year 2029 capital improvement section schedule of projects. This item was approved at first reading on November 21st. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Collins? I see none. Is there an applicant for this item? No, there's nobody registered to speak. Anybody for public comment? We have a motion closed from
Second.
Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
66.
File number CIP-CIS FY 2529, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan Capital Improvement section by replacing the fiscal year 2024 through fiscal year 2028 capital improvement section schedule of projects with the fiscal year 2025 through the fiscal year 2029 capital improvements. Did I say that over again? Section scheduled for projects, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability,
Second.
providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Miranda. All, please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. All right, these are the public hearings which we've already opened, but these are quasi-judicial. If you're going to speak on any item between 67 and 77, please stand, raise your right hand, and we'll swear you in. Thank you very much. Item number 67.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 67 is AB 22408. This is for the property at 4703 North Nebraska Avenue. The request is for alcoholic beverage sales, a small venue, consumption on premise, and package sales, consumption off premises of beer and wine. Site plan changes were required to be made between first and second reading. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Dock? Is there an applicant? Yes, ma'am, come on up, and please state your name.
My name is Shelby Weeks.
Anything to add?
Nope.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 67?
Move to close.
We have a motion to close from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Clendenin.
Yeah, I still go on record saying that I think some of these things are too restrictive, but I move file number AB 22408, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance approving a special use permit, SU2, for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premise, package sales, consumption off premise, and making lawful the sale of beer and wine at or from a certain lot or tract of land located at 4703 North Nebraska Avenue, Tampa, Florida, is more particularly described in sections 2, providing that all ordinances or reports of ordinances in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right, item number 68. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 68 is AB 22411. It's for the property at 3906 South Macdill Avenue, Unit 3910. And the request is for alcoholic beverage sales, a small venue classification for consumption on premise only, and the sale of beer and wine. Site plan changes were required to be made. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Dock? I see none. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Shaler, were you sworn in?
Yes, I was.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
don't know that I was on video though, but I was.
Was she was.
She wasn't.
Just do it. We'll do it again just for the record. Sure. Please raise your right hand.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing further to add, but happy to answer any questions that you may have.
For
Thank
Ms.
you.
Shaler? I see none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 68?
Motion closed.
We have a motion closed from Councilman Clendenin, second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Hurtak.
Yes, file number AB 224-11, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance approving a special use permit, SU2, for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premises only, and making lawful the sale of beer and wine at or from that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 3906 South Macdill Avenue, Unit 3910, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 2, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, item 69. Do we have Ms. Doc, go ahead.
Thank you, Council. Item 69 is AB 22413. It's for the property at 3636 Henderson Boulevard. The request is alcoholic beverage sales, a small venue, consumption on premise, and package sales, consumption off premise, and it's for the sale of beer, wine, and liquor. Site plan modifications were required to be made. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Doc? I see none. Do we have, yes, ma'am. Please state your name.
Megan Smith with Carter Brewer Hudson. We appreciate staff's efforts with this, and everything has been submitted, available for any questions.
All right, any questions? I see none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on this item? We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Councilmember Carlson.
Yes, I'd like to move item number 69, AB 224-13, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. Ordinance approving a special use permit, SU2, for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premises, package sales, consumption off premises, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor at or from that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 3636 Henderson Boulevard, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing ordinance number 2005-208, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Item number 70.
Item 70, Council, thank you, LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 70 is AB 22415. It's for the property at 2234 East 7th Avenue. The request is alcoholic beverage sales, large venue, consumption on premise only, for the sale of beer, wine, and liquor. Site plan changes were required to be made between first and second reading. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Dock? I see none. Applicant, yes, sir, come on up.
Hi, my name is Randolph Gosain. I'm here if you have any questions.
Any questions for the gentleman? I see none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item 70?
Move to close.
We have a motion closed from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Miranda.
Thank you, Chairman. Item number 70, file number AB 2/24/15. Ordinance being presented for second reading adoption. An ordinance approving a special use permit, SU, for alcohol beverage sale, large venue, consumption on premise only, and making lawful the sale of beverage regardless of alcohol content, beer, wine, and liquor on that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 2234 East 7th Avenue, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 2, providing that all ordinance in conflicts or parts of ordinance in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried with Hurtak voting no.
Thank you very much. All right, item number 71 was already taken care of. Item number 72.
Thank you, Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 72 is AB 22412. This is a request for alcoholic beverage sales, a large venue, consumption on premise only, for the sale of beer, wine, and liquor. Is for the property located at 1020 West Busch Boulevard. Site plan modifications were required to be made between first and second reading. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Dock? I see none. Do we have an applicant? Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Good morning, everyone.
If you have any questions, I'm okay, and thank you for approving me so far.
Yes, ma'am. Any questions? Anybody from the public wish to speak? We have a motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor? Aye. Councilmember Henderson. Yes, ma'am.
File number AB 22412, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance approving a special use permit, SU2, for alcoholic beverage sales, large venue, consumption on premises only, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcohol content, beer, wine, and liquor on that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 2010 West Busch Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in Section 2, providing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Miranda, Councilmember Hurtak.
You said 2010 and it's 1020. I just want to make sure that's part of the record.
2010.
Nope.
No, 1020 was.
Oh, it does, it still says that. I'm gonna say it again, 2010, but it's really 2010,
We had that
1020.
last time it was the same thing. It's okay. it doesn't matter.
1020.
1020.
No, thank you, Hurtak.
Thank you.
1020.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, we have a motion and we had a second. And we did, please record your vote.
Motion carried with Carlson and Vieira voting no.
Thank you very much. Item number 73.
Thank you, Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 73 is AB 22434. This is a request for alcoholic beverage sales, a small venue, classification, consumption on premise, and package sales, consumption off premise for the sale of beer, wine, liquor. This is for the property located at 6430 North Florida Avenue. Site plan changes were required to be made. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
We have any questions for Ms. Dock? See none. Applicant, come on up, sir. Please state your name.
Kevin Casey, available for questions.
Any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 73?
Motion closed.
We have motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Councilmember Clendenin, 70.
Yes. I move file number AB 22434, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premise, package sales, consumption off premise, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor on the certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 6430 North Florida Avenue, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealing AB 1-1716, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. Item number 74.
Thank you again, Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 74 is AB 22435. The request is for alcoholic beverage sales, a small venue with consumption on premise and package sales, consumption off premise for the sale of beer, wine, liquor. It's for the property at 2106 West Main Street. Site plan changes were required to be made. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Dock? I see none. Mr. Mechanic, were you sworn in? Please raise your right hand and unmute yourself. You're muted, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Please raise your right hand. We'll swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Mechanic?
No, Mr. Chairman, David Mechanic. For the record, I'm here on behalf of the applicant, and I would just respectfully request council's approval of the application. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? I see none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item 74? We have a motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin, second Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Councilmember Hurtak.
File number AB 224-35, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premises, package sales, consumption off premises, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor, at or from that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 2106 West Main Street, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing ordinance number 2018-161, providing an effective date.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right, thank you very much. Item number,
Thank you, council.
thank you very much. Next item, Ms. Doc.
Thank you, Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item number 75 is AB 22436. This is a request for alcoholic beverage sales, a large venue, consumption on premise, and package sales, consumption off premise for the sale of beer, wine, and liquor. It's for the property located at 5017 East Washington Street. Site plan modifications were required to be made between first and second reading. Those changes were made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Doc? I see none. Yes, ma'am. Come on up. Please state your name.
Jamie Mayer of the law firm Hillward Henderson for Egypt Shriners. I do not have anything to add. I'm here for any questions. Thank
Any
you.
questions? Yes, Councilman Carlson? Oh,
Oh, no, I was just kind of.
anybody in the public wishes to speak on 75?
Motion closed.
We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Councilmember Carlson, 75.
Yes, I'd like to move item number 75, file number AB 2-24-36. Ordinance being presented for second reading adoption, ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcoholic beverage sales, large venue, consumption on premises, package sales, consumption off premises, and making the lawful sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, liquor, at or from that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 5017 East Washington Street, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing ordinance number 2023-60, providing effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Item number 76. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 76 is AB 22437. This is a request for alcoholic beverage sales, a small venue classification for consumption on premise and package sales, consumption off premise. And this is for the sale of beer, wine, liquor. It's for the property at 2000 East 11th Avenue. This request did not require site plan changes, but the site plans have been certified and provided to the clerk. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions? I see none. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning, City Council. Ryan Manassi with Johnson Pope, Director of Development and Planning. I'm here for any questions and we respectfully request your approval.
Any questions? I see none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 76? Motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Miranda, 76.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 76, AB 224-37. Ordinance being presented for second reading adoption. An ordinance approving special use permit SU2 for alcohol beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premise, and package sales off premise, consumption and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcohol content, beer, wine, and liquor, at or from that lot, plot, or tract of land located at 2000 East 11th Avenue, as more particularly described in Section 2, providing that all ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Missing one vote.
Everybody put them on.
I voted.
There we go. Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. All right, item number 77.
Thank you, Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item number 77 is AB 22448. This is a request for alcoholic beverage sales at large venue, consumption on premise, and package sales, consumption off premise for the sale of beer, wine, liquor. It's for the property located at 1701 North Franklin Street. Site plan modifications were required to be made between first and second reading. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Dock? I see none. Ms. Shaler, go ahead. Please unmute yourself.
I'm on mute. Nothing further to add, but happy to answer any questions if you have
Any
them.
questions?
Thanks.
I see none. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item 77? Motion to close from Councilmember Clendenin. Second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Councilmember Vieira?
Yes, sir.
77.
I move an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcoholic beverage sales, large venue consumption on premises, package sales consumption off premises, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor, at or from that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 1701 North Franklin Street, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing ordinance number 2013-125, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
We're going so fast today. Item number 79. Yes.
Warren Shelby, City Council Attorney. If you like, if there's no objection, you can take those items that you've designated that don't require any discussion, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I see 79, 82, 84, 80, 81 goes with it.
Can you start over?
Sorry. So 80, okay, let me see if I can get it. 79, and you say we're going to have staff here for 81 and 82 together?
Mr. Washington will be in person for 81, but we're going so quickly, I don't know if he's in the building yet.
And then we have 84, 85, and 86.
Motion to approve 79, 84, 85, and 86.
79, 84, 85, and 86. We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak. We have a second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Well,
47 is also pulled, is that right?
47 has,
Oh,
no,
that was
47 was
continued.
continued to a later date.
Ah, thank you.
So at this time, we have 80 and 81. I'm sorry, 80 we did. No, 80 and 81, we have Mr. Washington. 80, come on up, sir.
We're just too efficient.
Doing well.
Yes.
Rory Jones with the City of Tampa Water Department. Good morning.
Wait just a moment, sir. Councilman Vieira.
Yeah, I was going to say that for the TFR one, I think I believe Chief Tripp had called my office for something, so I think we're doing that after lunch, I believe.
Okay.
Unless
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I heard wrong.
That's fine. Okay, Mr. Jones.
All right. I'll see if I can. So this is a brief update of the potable water system master plan, contract 24D17. There are some general concerns over what was included, and it's a brief explanation of this contract. The firm is Black & Veatch. This is basically a 5-year update to our previous master plan. It's really going to focus on the nuts and bolts of our distribution system, the pipes, valves, hydrants, tanks, repump stations. It is an 18-month overall schedule on this. The scope, the high-level scope of this is update our hydraulic model with new characteristics, review our asset management software, update that as well, and then generate the reports out of it. There are a couple other components that aren't really included, aren't really associated with the hydraulic modeling or the CIP prioritization, and that is software training. We are updating our America's Water Infrastructure Act regulatory requirement. But really the main output is this prioritized list of CIPs, and it's done through hydraulic modeling and that asset management software. What is not included in this, and hopefully this will help, we aren't addressing any water resource planning. There are no regulatory requirements in here. There's no treatment systems. There's no rate studies. This is just focused on our pipes, valves, hydrants, repump stations, what it's best to spend our CIP dollars on. and wanted to open up to any questions you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Jones, Councilmember Hurtak?
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say thank you for presenting this, and thank you for meeting with some of the stakeholders that are interested in this. I'm going to ask that council accept a letter from those stakeholders saying that they met with you and they really appreciate it, and they have no questions or issues with the project.
Great.
So I'd like to make a motion to have that letter entered into the record.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file that letter and put it in the record. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
And now do we have a motion to move item, motion from Councilmember Clendenin and second from Councilmember Hurtak for item 80, the resolution. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Stop playing
Hope you
hockey.
get better soon, yeah.
Or act my age out there, right?
That's no fun. I do not recommend it.
Yeah, okay,
Do not act your age.
So 81 and 81, Mr. Washington's supposed to be here in person, but I don't see him yet. He's on his way, all right. So that's 81. 82 is going to be, Mr. O'Hara talked about it last time, but is he part of 81 as well or no?
Your age elected.
Ma'am? Okay, 82?
82 is the same thing.
Yeah, we're going to wait 81, 82 because it ties in money-wise. All right.
83, we're waiting.
83, we're going to take after lunch. That's Councilman Vieira.
87.
87, how about 87? Kelly Austin and Ms. Faggart are here. Do you have anything to add, ma'am? Deanna?
I think it's HR, but
It's Kelly here.
well, I think Chief of Staff can talk to it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just here to answer any questions you may have about the procurement process that was followed.
Okay. Anything to add, Chief of Staff?
Well, good morning, John Bennett, Chief of Staff on item 87. We sent a memo in, of course, the background we've briefed those that had additional questions. I'm either here to answer questions or I could put a slide up that kind of aggregates everything if that's helpful to council and the public.
Do you have a slide about information that that was presented during our meeting yesterday? Because I think that would be helpful. Do you have any of that information, or I can speak to it as well?
If it's specifically to those, that's not on my slide, but obviously Ms. Austin's here to speak to the level of service and the accountability within the contract.
So, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So, obviously I was one of the ones that was, that had asked for this report, and I had a meeting with Ms. Austin and the chief and staff yesterday about expressing some of my concerns. They brought forth some positive information about they polled the city, and maybe Ms. Austin, I think that would be helpful if you shared that information that you shared with me yesterday about the results of customer satisfaction within the city of Tampa.
Sure,
And,
Kelly Austin, Director of Human Resources and Talent Development, and I apologize, this is going a lot faster, so I was running over here, so I apologize for not being here.
So basically what council can do when there's a lunch waiting for you.
Yeah, so sorry about that. But yes, so, the city of Tampa, of course, as you know, is self-insured. So our contracts with United Healthcare is for administrative services only. And the customer satisfaction rate, which would be our city of Tampa members and their dependents that are eligible to participate in the plan, is 95%. Our customer resolution rate is 92%. So the employees that United Healthcare is, doing surveys with and talking to, the results are high. 95% in an industry like insurance is extremely, extremely high. So we're not hearing the negative feedback from our employees with our plan as it relates to the services and if they have an issue, how those issues get resolved with United Healthcare.
And I think part of the discussion that we had yesterday was communicating with the employees so that we could get that, soliciting feedback and making sure people know that we're receptive to that that you are receptive to that feedback so that you can do the intervention when required because of that nature of the relationship, United being and managing our program versus and us being self-pay. So I think that was helpful as well of doing that employee outreach. So if there is something out there underlying that we're not aware of, it's brought to your attention. And there was only 2 bidders for this contract, and this United Healthcare head and tails above the second bidders.
Yes, sir. There was actually three,
that's
but
right,
one was deemed non-responsive because they were only bidding on a component and not the entire proposal of what the services that we needed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
and then
I appreciate the briefing yesterday, because I came in with a completely different perspective, and I left with it.
And then we also talked about reinforcing with the employees. We have an on-site health coach, we have a on-site nurse, and we have an on-site United Healthcare rep, and they all sit out at the CMOB building, and they are available to help employees with billing issues, finding a facility. You got denied on something and you don't know why, and you need help navigating that. You need to get an MRI, where can I go? You need help with your diet, you need help with your diabetes management. So it's kind of all encompassing for the health and wellness. You've got that administrative part with the rep, and then you've got the nurses on site as well. And we're gonna do another communication push, because I don't know that everybody is utilizing them to the degree they could.
That was gonna be my next thing, is to make sure that, so the employees that are out in the field, people are consolidated to get information a lot of times, but people who are deployed and in the field may not have access to a lot of information. So that's
And then the other thing we shared with you, Councilman, just for the rest of the council, is the actual denial rate in the city of Tampa with our United Healthcare plan is less than 0.1%. So it's a very small, now, normally when something gets denied, a lot of times it can be because of just a paperwork between doctors, a communication, and that's why using the on-site rep is so important, because that person can help our employee navigate some of that bureaucracy that happens regardless of who the carrier is. It's physicians and insurance companies talking to each other. So we're gonna really reinforce with the employees that's available to them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Councilmember Carlson, Councilmember Moran.
Chief Bennett, I talked to you about this privately. After the last time this contract came up, I was approached by companies in the industry that felt that the RFP process was, this is their allegation, not mine, they felt like the process was not fair because the mayor's partner's lobbying firm represents United. And then in this current process, I was told that some firms did not apply because they thought the process would not be fair because of the allegation that the mayor's partner's firm works for United. Can you set the record straight on that, please?
John Bennett, Chief of Staff. Two things. One, I talked to legal about that, and they have a letter on file so that there would be never any conflict between the partner and our process as an RFP. And then the second thing is that the solicitation that was put out involved 8 interdepartmental departments, and they have no idea, were never contacted, as I'm aware, from any lobbyist firms throughout the process. So thank you.
Councilmember Moran.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to thank the Our administration who started the health clinic in the city, and I think that saved a lot of millions of dollars in the future.
It has.
Every year it does that, so I want to thank that administration and what they did when times were really, really tough.
Yes, sir.
All right, can I get a motion to move the resolution for 87? Motion from Councilmember Miranda, who was the second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? All right, we await the arrival of Mr. Washington, Councilmember Vieira, and there he is, look at that. Look at that, look at that.
Were you recording the TikTok?
Stop it, don't answer that.
Good morning,
So-
Mr. Washington.
And good morning. I have a panelist line, but I didn't want to use that since it's a special day for us. So I want to come down here myself. Okay.
All right.
So Larry Washington, Director of the Solid Waste Department. Excuse me, I ran over here as well. So, Director of the Solid Waste Department, here to present the 90% GMP for the relocation project for Solid Waste Department from Spruce Street to 34th Street. Again, we're under budget. The budget was $107 million. However, we're just shy of that, so kudos to us. In addition, there's a lot of benefits associated with this project as well, which we went over in great detail December 5th. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer any and all of them, but look forward to your decision.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that I actually spoke to several of your employees at the ATU holiday celebration, and they are so excited about this. So I just, I know we've had all our questions answered, and I just wanted to say that it is not just you who is looking forward to this, the entire team and the things that they're going to be receiving. They're particularly excited about the truck wash, the automatic truck wash. So
I'm saved.
yeah. So.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, first I have I appreciate Mr. Washington and his team. They do a great job in a lot of areas. I think that the concept of this project, with the timing that we're in now, is not appropriate, and especially the bonding of it. And so I'm going to vote against it and the bonding. No disrespect to Mr. Washington and his team. I just think that we're at a point now where we have a lot of things that we absolutely have to do, and there are some things in here that we have to do, but anything that's at all optional, we have to put all the money in other areas, and we have to look at the total capacity of the public to pay as well. So anyway, with respect, I'll be voting no.
Councilman Miranda?
No, I just want to say thank you for working diligent, you and your whole staff, in getting what you got to do from point A to point B and getting this thing started so you can have everything in place to lower the cost.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, yes. Thank you to you and your staff for all of the work that you put into this, especially the communication piece all along the way, just keeping us informed. And I'm also excited for the Lincoln Gardens and Carver City community, who will no longer have a sanitation department that's been there for more than 60 years. So whatever is to come, hopefully it will be a great benefit to the community, but this provides us for an opportunity to not only save money eventually in the long run, but to be very efficient regarding our sanitation. So kudos to your staff.
Councilmember Clendenin, then back to Councilmember Hurtak.
Okay. Well, then I only have one thing to say is that you guys don't see this, but I have to sit next to Councilwoman Hurtak, and anytime we talk about trash, there's like electricity coming from over here. It's just, I've never known anybody that just gets so giddy and excited about trash. It's
Well,
just,
except for Mr. Washington.
except for, well, I don't know. I think she's one above you on this. I mean, her level is, it's almost disturbing.
So I move item 81.
And
Can I
82 as
move
well?
them together?
Wait. Okay.
Okay, well then I'll move item 81 and 82.
We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak and Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you again for your
there's
support.
a
Wait, we have a
Motion,
nay.
motion carried with Carlson voting no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again. All right.
We are just, all right, so now item number 88, Councilman Vieira, I'm gonna wait till Chief Tripp after lunch with 7 and
Thank you.
83 so we can bundle the
Thank you,
fire. Chief Burkhall, or is someone stepping in for Burkhall on 89? You are? Come on up, sir.
Good morning, Council. Ben Brown of the Tampa Police Department. I'm here due to recent Florida statute that requires, as of July 1st, 2024, that the Tampa Police Department gives a briefing to City Council verbally on the red light camera system. And there's a couple points that it requires that we provide for your approval and for your knowledge. The first of which are how many notices were issued in the last period. 108,886 notices were given for violation. The number of violations contested, 622. The number of violations upheld, 384. Notice of violations dismissed, 155 of the contested ones. The number of uniform citations issued, which is basically once the notice changes from just a civil notice to a citation, that was 31,432. The number of violations paid of the 108,000 were 67,872. The total revenue that came to the state from that was 5.431 million. The revenue paid to our vendor was 2 million. The net revenue to the city, excluding operation costs, or including the operation costs, was 4.91 million. And then distributed to the intersection safety capital project, 1.2 million, and distributed to the general fund of that was 3.68 million. Were there any questions that I could answer for council?
Councilman Clendenin, you had your mic on, and then Councilman.
Not necessarily a question, but a statement about how problematic these things can be for issues within our community and society. I have a good friend of mine that was tagged by a red light camera. Notices were sent to an address that they did not live at, and that person's license was suspended, tags were not able to be renewed, fines were levied, and the problem with this is an equity issue. If someone is victimized by these, again, it's a technology, it's a camera, not a human being, and when the government is in a position of having non-people take away people's treasure and potentially their liberty, because this becomes a problematic issue that snowballs. And a person whose license is suspended gets pulled over, that throws them into the system. It can be very problematic, and it's something that I fundamentally do not believe that this is the right thing for our society, to have cameras and automation doing the work of law enforcement. At least if a law enforcement officer pulls that person over, they know that they've been ticketed, so that they have a firsthand knowledge. If a red light camera does this and it's sent through a mail, that mail is not delivered, that person has no knowledge. And again, a fine doesn't get paid, they get penalized even further. If somebody's working for minimum wage, they'll never get out from under this. And then we hear these stories time and time again within certain segments of our society, how problematic this can become. So until my last breath as a public servant, I'm going to be preaching against these things because of those types of issues. So just so you know.
I absolutely agree with him. Councilmember Miranda.
Well, I disagree with both of you. That doesn't mean much, but let me tell you this. There's not one of us in this room that haven't seen somebody take a red light camera when you're driving in the city of Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt in my mind, because I see it every day, at least 2 or 3 times, just going from here on Wednesdays to Osmar. I see them pass it all the time. And about a school bus with the animal, the same thing. They take it. It's an amazing problem that we have in society, that lights, caution lights, red lights, don't mean anything. And I understand the other side of the issue. However, this is not something new. This is something that's been going on in the city for some time. I don't know how many years, but over 10 years, I think. And what is happening here is that the public is either too entertained mindedly or not paying attention to where they're going, at what time they're going, and where they're going to arrive, and they want to get there quicker, I guess. I don't know. But I've seen from all, and it's not the car model, it's not the make of the car, it's the driver inside the car that's taking these red lights. So I appreciate, maybe we can find out those individuals that have been ticketed the wrong way because it was not the address sent to, there ought to be a change in the violation of the law. I'm not opposed to that, because that's common sense. But the preponderance of the issue here is those that are found guilty are really guilty. And what about if it kills somebody, especially somebody in your family? What are you going to say then? What about if it kills a little kid crossing the street that they don't see going so fast? What are you going to say then to who? What about that family? What about the life of somebody you killed? That's why I'm for this. This is it's not although it creates money, it's not about money. It's about safety first. If there was no one taking a red light, there'd be zero money. And that's what I like to see. But that doesn't happen because we are humans, are incapable of seeing red, green, and yellow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Councilmember Hurtak.
And I just want to agree with Councilman Miranda. I just want to say thank you for the work that is done. Red is a really solid color. You can see it coming. Just don't run it. That's pretty.
I love that.
In the classroom and on the streets.
Yep. So just thanks for the report. And, the goal is for never to get a cent from this.
Yep.
So.
Councilmember Vieira.
Yes, thank you, sir. And one thing I did want to distinguish, because Councilman Clendenin brings up some good points that I think can be separated from the issue of red light cameras, which I know there's a lot of different debate and dialogue on, but it's a state issue, really, which is the state of Florida's policies on fees and fines. We have our friends in the Fees and Fines Institute with Sarah Couture, who's a really good person, but is our policy of taking fees and fines on a number of things and then suspending people's driver's license on it, which leads people to, take a wrong turn and just keep going in life. And that, for me, is the big problem. It's not necessarily, again, the red light issue has its merits, it has its detractors, there's something to be said there, but I think you separate that from the state policy issue of fees and fines and how we essentially criminalize poverty a lot of times in Florida, and I think that's unfortunate. And I know a few years ago, there were people like State Senator Jeff Brandes and others who were looking at passing legislation addressing that in Tallahassee, and it unfortunately didn't get passed. But that's an issue where there has historically been a lot of bipartisan support with Republicans and Democrats looking at that issue, because it doesn't make sense. But that for me is separate from an issue of a red light camera. But I did want to give credence to that because I think that's a very legitimate issue, and everything. But that's a state issue, and Florida has to do better on that, I believe. But thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Councilmember Carlson?
Sorry if I missed this, but in previous years, these have caused an increase in rear end collisions where people slam the brakes suddenly and somebody hits them from behind. Do you have data on that?
I do not have any data on that. I don't know if that is a fact or if that's something that could happen, because obviously when you lock up your brakes or stop quickly because you're in fear of that, that can cause that if the person's following too closely behind you. I don't have data on that. If it's so requested, I could try to figure that out for you. I'm sure I could find that out, but I don't have that data for you right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very,
Just follow up.
yes.
So I just want to be clear, I'm not advocating for running red lights. So, red light, you should stop. I actually advocate for human beings, our law enforcement officers enforcing the law and being there so that people can have their constitutional rights, and, when the government is prosecuting these types of events. My issue is the automated part of this, and that people unknowingly, if they get this, they don't get that ticket. They didn't have an officer hand them a ticket, so they don't know. The system sends a ticket to a mail. If it doesn't get to them, their license is suspended. They get fines, and then potentially, depending on their socioeconomic status, they get caught in that pit that Councilman VR just talked about. So and this is way above and beyond, what your position is here today. I'm just talking again. I just want to make sure everybody understands my position on this, that this is, for our society, this is problematic, and it's a problem with people and with families. It's a real problem with people and some families in our community, and we should recognize that.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Officer Bennett.
Merry Christmas. All right. I'm looking at the rest of the agenda as we approach the 12 o'clock hour. Item number 92 and 93 could be longer discussions. How about item number 94? I'm really excited about this motion. Item number 94, yes, ma'am, you're here, so.
Good morning, Council. Emma Gregory, Legal Department, just here about the Route 1 Circulator MOU. Thank you for hearing the resolution and the agreement today. Here if you have any questions.
94, this is the MOU with HART and the Route 1.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Council made a motion at the September 3rd meeting to allocate the funds for the Route 1 fare-free bus service. And then on October 3rd, by resolution 2024-972, the money was allocated for this purpose. So I and city staff have worked with HART to come to an agreement on these terms, and we're here today to present it to you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Henderson, Councilmember Carlson.
Well, first of all, it is not the City of Tampa's responsibility to fund HART. And I know that in goodwill, I can understand that purpose of us saying, hey, let's pay for a free ride for 1 year for Route 1, but there are other routes that could be taken into consideration, and we didn't do a study to figure that out, or HART did not. And then secondly, HART is also have revealed to us that they're in debt because of the streetcar shortfall of $1.4 million. And so they have that shortfall, and then this particular set of funds that will go toward a bus ride for 1 year will, I believe, put us in a pickle situation where the community will expect it the year after that, and then put us in a position where we have to, again, consider funds that are not designed to be used for HART, because HART and the City of Tampa are separate. So it's not about the goodwill aspect of it. It would be easy for us to just continue to give money away if that were the case, because we could find goodwill in a lot of different situations. It is not the city's responsibility to fund HART initiatives, even though they are of goodwill, especially considering a time when HART presented that they or indicated that there is a shortfall in their budget for the streetcar. So that's just my position on it, and I just wanted to restate that, and also the reason why I cannot support it.
Councilmember Carlson.
As we discussed before, I'm going to vote against this. I am in favor of transit. There's a whole lot of misinformation that gets circulated around votes like this, but I'm in favor of transit. I helped write the regional transit plan 10 or so years ago, have been involved in pushing for transit and different kinds of transit solutions in multiple cities in multiple countries. And I'm very in favor of all that. I'm in favor of helping people to save money to ride transit. The big question here is the same one that Councilmember Henderson just mentioned, which is that in the 1980s, under the Martinez administration, HART was moved out along with the taxing authority of the city that related to transit. And so the HART has the ability, it's complicated and difficult, but HART has the ability to increase its ad valorem rate to pay for way more than the city could ever afford on transit. And I think that there should be tough discussions at HART to figure that out. The people who want better transit, they need to show up at HART, because HART can move the needle on the budget. It's difficult, but they can do it. And it's different than the all for transportation type programs. So I'm in favor of funding. I just don't think that the city should do it. The city has very limited funds, and we have a huge number of problems we have, besides the fact that our roads are falling apart, and we don't. We now have a stormwater issue where we are on a fast track to try to protect people's houses and livelihoods, and we need to use every dollar we can to protect people. And so that's why I'll be voting no.
Councilman Miranda.
As I've been told, and I hope that I'm right, Route 1, the preponderance of the people that ride it pay for it.
It is, that's my understanding as well. I mean,
Right.
they pay a fare to get on the bus.
And I understand that, and I hope that my information is correct. So therefore, I want to subsidize only a smaller than I'm supposed to. If it was 100%, 80%, 70%, yeah, I understand that. But what's been said earlier, and I agree with the other two council members in different aspects, the preponderance of the people that need to ride a bus are not on this line, I don't believe. I believe they're somewhere inside of the northeast part of the city, all the way from 15th Street, all the way north to University of South Florida, on that area. On this side, those people that are riding it are the ones that, the numbers, as I heard them, are much longer than the ones that need help. So why am I subsidizing all of them, not the ones that don't pay? I understand that. Or that can't pay, I understand that. But now I'm subsidizing the people that could pay that are not paying. So I don't understand that formula. That's where I can't support this thing, because I just don't believe that I'm taking revenue away where I should be giving revenue to, because now I'm giving it free. So it's a hard thing to do, but I believe that there's other people, much more individuals, that need help in riding the bus than just on line 1.
Councilman Clendenin Vieira.
Yeah, I was hoping that Justin or Scott was going to be here today. I want to go on record as saying that how absolutely disappointed I am in HART and the misrepresentation from the organization in front of this council when they came looking for the subsidy, knowing all along that they had hired a firm to do an evaluation of administrative cost of the streetcar, and then at the last minute, after they got my vote for this subsidy, going public and telling people they're going to start charging for the streetcar, the Tampa historic streetcar, knowing how important that is to the city of Tampa and our growth and the expansion and making a car-free environment in our urban core. And it's one of the most successful modes of operation that they have within the HART organization, and they chose to screw with that again after they came before this board and asked for the subsidy for this. I'm woeful with what they presented. So I'm very disappointed that they did not disclose that information when they came before us for this vote. My vote on this process is different than maybe some of the folks that are opposed to this, and maybe some of the justification for my vote for justification for this was, we have on the table, and it's something that the HART leadership supports, was a proposal for possibly having a BRT that mirrored this route. It made sense to me to do this fare-free as a test of viability before we got too far down a rabbit hole on a BRT. So I felt that the investment was relatively minor compared to the substantial, like $100 million investment in what would be a BRT, that this is a good test, a good test before we go out and continue to spend. Just, stick your toe in before you jump in full, your entire body. So I had asked Councilman Vera to defer Councilman Vera, because I know you're the chair of HART, so you bring some subject matter expertise and some knowledge. I don't know, could you shed some sunshine on how this happened between the lack of transparency from staff and what's happening? 'Cause having HART go out and tell people, first place, having them go out and say they're going to charge for the streetcar without City of Tampa concur, that's completely disingenuous. And to tell people that's happening and go in the paper and having these here, completely disingenuous. Because you have to have Tampa. By the way, the City of Tampa subsidizes the streetcar too. We help pay for the streetcar. So we are vested partners in that streetcar. So that's not happening without our advice and consent. So anyway, I'll shut up there and say, Councilman Vera, can you spread some sunshine on it?
So, yes, sir. So for that issue, when it comes to the streetcar, I would much rather, because there are certain foundational assertions and accusations in that question that I think would have a person specifically from HART like Mr. Willits to answer that. Councilman Hurtak, is that okay? No, I hope that was him.
I can speak to it.
If you'd like.
And actually, I think the chairman can speak to it because he sits on the board of the streetcar. So it's not HART that made the decision, it was the board of the streetcar, which you might want to maybe try to get on to move some of that. HART did not come asking for the subsidy. I think HART was surprised when I brought it up. I brought it up from the dais here. I did not talk. I knew what it would cost because we've been talking about the BRT, but in no way did I say, hey, I just came up with this because I saw that number and said, hey, that's the same number. I'm going to let, if you want to talk about the HART board, the streetcar board.
Yeah, so I sit on the streetcar board, and the situation is we had grant funding that kept the fare free, and it is wildly successful. If you look at the ridership rates, they're phenomenal. The streetcar is one of my favorite systems. It works. Anytime I use it, it's packed. It's never not packed. So by losing that, the grants, we had to revert to not just going back to fees, because I was asking at one meeting, I go, people are used to not paying for it, but people are using it. How do we slowly implement something like $1 a fare, something that's so reasonable and easy? But it's not that, it's reactivating the pay stubs and the fare boxes and getting that. So that's issue number one. I think the HART issue is separate from it because we're looking at, Route 1 goes from here to USF. It'll touch a different population of people instead of, like when I use the streetcar, I'm taking it from Whiting Station to Ybor or Water Street. Typically I walk to Water Street, but if I want to get to Ybor and not have to pay for parking and whatnot, but I have the benefit of, I work downtown and I use my parking here. Route 1 is different because it's through a main corridor, a busy corridor. And I think, how so many transportation ideas get shot down, all for transportation. Since I got started in politics about 15 years ago, we lost the funding to, $10 billion. It was turned away and it went to other parts of the country. I think by, I don't want to call it experimenting, but investing in Route 1, I think it'll give us the data like the streetcar got the data when it was fare free. I don't criticize, I don't put it on HART. I put it on We just didn't get that state grant to continue the fare free, because it would have continued.
How much
so.
was the state grant?
What was it, like $1 million something a year? If I remember off the top of my head, and that would have allowed it to operate on X schedule, like 15-minute, 30-minute intervals, and that was really it. Councilmember Hertog.
Thank you. I just think it's really interesting. I'm glad you brought up the BRT because that's kind of really one of the reasons behind it. But we had public comment today about traffic. We had a presentation about red light cameras. One of the things that we're trying to do is also incentivize people to use public transit. And that worked wildly successfully for the streetcar. And I don't want a fee to go on the streetcar either. I'm absolutely happy. In fact, we have a presentation from Mr. O'Hara today to talk about extra money that we found in the 2024 budget. Happy to continue to fund the streetcar. I think it's important. But if we don't expand that any, then we aren't going to get more cars off the street. And this is just a way to try that. So for me, it's very important for that. It's also very important because it is, as a public commenter said earlier, an issue with affordable housing. If you don't have to pay for the bus, then, I mean, that's $80 a month more for people who take it every single day. And that's a lot of money to a lot of people who have to take the bus. But also incentivizing people to give it a try and say, hey, I mean, a lot of people didn't ride the streetcar until it was free. So giving it a year to just say, hey, let's give it a try, let's see how it goes is all we're asking. And I understand that folks have some issues with the streetcar. I'm happy to support that in any way, shape, or form. But if we don't try anything, we're just going to simply go round and round in the same problem, talking about the same traffic over and over and over again. And we owe it to our constituents to try to find a way to get more people off the roads.
And before I go back to Councilman Clendenin, I 100% the streetcar and the expansion, because I see how successful it's been. And if it goes up to Tampa Heights and further, you're going to continue seeing it being packed, because it's not everybody wants to park downtown, not everybody wants to pay to park downtown, not everybody has a car. It's just, since 1946, we've been making a lot of mistakes. You know, Tampa Transit took over, that worked, now it becomes HART, and it's, you know, we have grown tremendously. Now it's a countywide issue, but I think we should try this. I don't fault HART. I don't feel, you know, like they pulled the wool over my eyes or anything like that, because we lost the state funding, the state grant, and that put us in the position. And the timing of this, you know, this was proposed with HART Route 1, and it just, you know, the timing was, the optics, I understand, but I don't think it was intentional. Councilmember.
Well, I think, and there's two issues here. One is and I see just the executive director for HART is here. I'm sorry. Yeah, planning director. Titles. But there's two things here. One, the loss of that grant, but also there's this, because, and he's heard this from me, so this is not a secret. They came to us because they're based on an internal study that we are supposedly, in theory, underbilling the city of Tampa for administrative costs, based on an internal study that I think we'd have to delve into a little deeper. Also, at the last minute reference in our budget cycle, because we all know that when you want something in a government budget, it's got to be timely and early. So you've got that happening at the same time they're doing this public campaign telling people they're going to institute fares on the streetcar, when at the same time we're trying to build momentum to expand the streetcar, to expand the service, and reference investing. And I'll concur with, I think Councilman Carlson said about the City of Tampa investment. The taxpayers in the Tampa pay into HART through millage. We already pay our fair share into that. If the City of Tampa is committed to finding the financing and doing these things that we need to do to expand the streetcar. That's where we need to reserve our City of Tampa money for, is for this expansion. This HART needs to pony up and figure out a way to run this, because that's their job, that's their role, that's their responsibility. That's, you know, this is their meat and potatoes, and quite frankly, this is, again, the shining example for HART in Hillsborough County as far as the numbers of riderships. So we need to, and I hope we do fulfill that mission of finding money to do, because we've got to find the money for matching funds to do the things to expand this. Then we're going to expand the service area. the service area so that we can have, keep this thing operating. The theory is to expand the streetcar service area so we can keep it free in perpetuity for the entire area that we expand to. So, you know, I mean, I was gonna ask staff during new business today to say we need to pursue what it would take for the city of Tampa to take over the streetcar so that we'll never get into the situation again, run our own system. So I'll hold that for new business, just throw that out there.
Councilman Vieira Miranda.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad Justin is here. I mean, I know sometimes, especially in the political world, things get lost in translation, et cetera. I mean, it's always been my experience. I've served on HART since 2021, I believe it is, or 22, and always honest, good folks, and again, sometimes things get lost in translation. I think that this initiative, this 7-figure investment in mass transit from the city of Tampa is the right thing to do. I like giving credit where credit's due, and I salute Councilwoman Hurtak because she's right. This isn't something that HART said, we want this. She said, she doesn't even sit on the HART board, and she said, this is something that we should do. So I salute that. And this also will give a 6-figure investment as well in paratransit, something that's critically underfunded in our area for people with disabilities, including people with intellectual disabilities. That's part of that. I think for those of us who were disappointed by the results in 2018 afterwards in litigation and All for Transportation, the pre-election results in litigation on All for Transportation Part 2 in 2022, it is incumbent on us to do everything that we can do to move the ball forward to the extent that we can with our positions on mass transit, and this is what this does. I think that the idea that this is time limited in the sense that the funds are going to make it limited for a certain amount of time shouldn't preclude us or burden in any way our vote. If this is something that comes up for a year again and people go, we want more, number one, that points to success for this because it's going to meet the needs of everyday working Tampeños. But number two, it'll be a decision that we have to make, and we have to make tough decisions. And this is something was obviously brought before the HART board. The HART board has agreed to accept with a number of measures on fiscal responsibility, et cetera, for us so that the HART, so that the fiscal issues of HART are not burdened, et cetera. With regards to the streetcar, obviously I support the streetcar. I go back to issues in the CRA. I remember when I voted against the Strat Center, the $25 million, one of the biggest reasons I said that was because of, among other things, the streetcar. I think that's a big, big thing, and I know Councilman Clendenin's very, very passionate about that. I don't think that one issue is in the lane of the other in terms of voting yes or no on this. I'm committed to doing what Councilman Clendenin wants to do with regards to the streetcar, making it fare free, you know, and going forward on that issue. I think that's important. But again, let's isolate Route 1 and the people that this would help. This is a corridor to USF that's near our VA. You're going to talk about a lot of veterans. You're going to talk about a lot of students. You're going to talk about a lot of everyday working families earning $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour, working at Walgreens, working at Walmart, wherever it may be, trying to get to work and then back home to their families. These are the people that we're going to be helping. And if we don't move this forward, it's going to be something that I think goes against the welfare of those folks. So I do hope that we find a way forward because, again, the issue with the streetcar, and I'm sure we're going to hear from Mr. Willits on this, I don't think is in any way burdening this vote. It should not, because the two issues for me are very, very separate and apart. So again, this is a big win, I think, for mass transit. And again, it's a win that for those of us who have been disappointed by the election results, or I should say the litigation results on these issues, it shows that we're doing what we can. And I think that's important. So I'll obviously be voting yes. Thank you.
Councilman Miranda.
I just want to say a couple of things. If I remember the streetcar heading north, we go from Florida Avenue all the way to Line Ball when I was a kid. It covered all the way to Ballast Point. It covered all of Ybor City, part of East Tampa, part of West Tampa, part of Hyde Park. It was workable. But guess what was also workable? The bus line. Why? Because it was consolidated into an area of the city compact with a lot of individuals living within that certain area. Once it started expanding out to the county, and Harry Orr told me this in the bottom of the steps, and I mentioned his name again. He said, the day you put a penny, he said $1, so I'm gonna raise it to a penny, into the streetcars, into the bus line going to the county, you'll never have a bus line that works. He wasn't 100% correct, he was 1,000% correct. So the bus line, the transit, the bus stations, where they kept the buses right here on Cleveland Avenue, Cleveland Street, I mean. So all that area is still memorized from living in Tampa. And what we're doing here now, we're trying to service everyone when we should be, because it doesn't work. You know, everybody moved to the county. When I was a young man, got married, everybody moved to, out there, just west of Hillsborough and Waters, because you could buy an acre of land for $1,500 and you can build a house, you don't have to pay city tax. Well, guess what? Now they're moving back in the city because the land has gotten so high, and not only ours has gotten high, theirs has gotten higher, and they want to live and move where they can have a livable place to go from A point to point B. They don't have to travel too much. So what goes around comes around, and I'm not against transit. Let me say that again. I've always supported transit, but I remember why it happened and how it happened. And these are the things that are not, unless the city of Tampa, maybe we're correct on the systems. I don't know exactly what is needed, but it's a bunch of money to get it done. But once it gets done, it moves. And you go to a lot of foreign countries, they have automobile cars that sit 8 to 10 people. They go from point A to point B, just a straight line from, let's say, Kennedy Boulevard and West Shore to downtown Tampa. That's all that driver does, up and down. That's it. And it's got to be something changed, because transit should be at least a break even or close to it, because it's needed. I'm not saying it's not needed, but I cannot in my mind figure that if this line is preponderance, those people that are paying, why should I subsidize a line that's already paying? That's it.
Councilmember Henderson, Councilmember Carlson.
Thank you, Chair. You know, HART didn't ask for the money, which is true, they didn't. It's a great idea. It's not that I can't support that, but I could come before this same body and say, you know what, we should take 1.6 million and shave off and give people, you know, a certain group of people, a couple of $100s a month to reduce their rent, or to buy additional groceries. We could come up with a lot of ideas to spend $1.6 million when people don't ask for it. It's not our responsibility, and we're assuming, there's an assumption there because there's been no study done as to who would necessarily benefit in Route 1. Yes, there are college students, there are people who work, there are all different types of people, but there's been no study to confirm that. So we're just making an assumption. We could say the same thing about a route that goes into West Tampa. You know, there are kids who ride that bus and get off at Jefferson who probably live in East Tampa. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios that we could come up with to support anything in the amount of $1.6 million. But as a HART board member as well, and I expressed this on our meeting a couple of months ago, is that, you know, I expressed to the board that I did not support it from a city council perspective, simply because we're not fiscally responsible for even coming up with these wonderful ideas to support HART in this way. And so the continuation of it, because somebody will benefit, and then when we plan for the budget next year, we'll find ourselves in this situation again. And that is the issue, is that now we're in the business of being fiscally, contributing to HART in this way. I know you know, that the grant didn't go through, because I also sit on the streetcar committee as well. And so, but there's also opportunity, there are additional opportunities coming for us to, you know, get grant dollars to support that. I just am in favor of us not moving forward with it, because we haven't done a study to determine how it could best be of benefit, and also it's just not our responsibility.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, first I want to echo also, I think it was Councilmember Hurtek that came up with this idea, and I feel bad voting against it because I respect the idea and the initiative and everything. To me, this is more about the future of HART and the city of Tampa and the county, and what the relationship and the other two cities, what the relationship is between all of them. After we talked about this the last time, either the first or second meeting that HART had afterwards, they had a consultant present on different funding sources for HART. And I don't know the status of that, but we probably should put on a workshop sometime, a more robust discussion about how HART is looking at the future, but also how they're planning on funding it, and what's the status of their consultants and how they're looking for it. And part of it was about state and federal funding. And then if we can come to some kind of consensus on that, we can be supportive of whatever HART does. It doesn't mean that the vote today is not whether we're pro-transit or against transit, it's which agency should do it, which agency is authorized and has the responsibility to do it, and that clearly is HART, because it was moved out of the city 40 years ago. There are three big ways that we're going to get money for transit. I told you I've helped write one or two of the plans for the region, and there are lots of plans. Every couple of years they update plans for the region and for the city. There's all kinds of plans. There's just never enough money to implement it. We can't even fix the roads in the city. There's not enough money for it. So the choices are, we can get a new a sales tax passed, and the campaigns so far have been very badly run, and including the CIT tax just barely passed. Part of it, and I said this in the beginning, if you use elected officials in the ads and you promote elected officials, even if an elected official is 60 or 80% popular, there's still 20 or 40% of people who don't like them. You shouldn't run a campaign like that. What we need to do, if we're in favor of that option, we need to get a consulting firm out of state that has expertise in it that knows how to run a campaign. The other thing, which all these campaigns have not done, is they have not engaged the opposition. And we need a consulting firm, an initiative that's not afraid to engage the opposition, because there are some things that the opposition will be okay with, and I've talked about that before. The other option is we get federal or state money. It doesn't look like that's going to happen in the next 4 years. The other way is ad valorem, and I'm oversimplifying. The other way is ad valorem. If we, my problem is that we open up the door to city funding transit, then more and more in the future, we're going to be doing what HART should be doing. HART has the ability to increase its ad valorem tax. They should do that. What's going to happen eventually is that the city of Tampa will have to increase our ad valorem tax because we already don't have enough money to do what we're doing right now. HART should take that initiative first and do that. If HART doesn't want to do it, or if they fail to do it, then we should do the opposite of what the Martinez administration did in the 80s, go to Tallahassee and get the legislation changed, give us our $500,000 back. If we're going to end up subsidizing the same or more than what they're already collecting, give us our $500,000 back, and then we can add to it. But at least then we're in control of our own future, and we don't have to go through the ups and downs of another agency. And the last thing is that Councilmember Henderson has talked a couple times about targeting people who can't afford to get on buses. I would be okay if we took some amount of money and bought bus cards. Ideally, they'd be trackable so we could see how often people use them. But bus cards for people who can't afford them. Then they can take them wherever they want. But that way we're targeting people who have a need, not just a route. Thank you.
Councilmember Hurtak, would you like to move the resolution?
Yes, I move the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Vieira.
Yes.
Miranda.
No.
Carlson.
No.
Hurtak.
Yes.
Clendenin.
I'm going to vote yes, only because as I stated before, I think this is an investment to see the viability of a potential BRT. It's not about subsidizing the route for riders per se, or picking winners or losers, but because this is the route that is one of the routes that we're looking at a BRT. I think that it's a short-term investment, a limited-term investment, and that we could test the viability of BRT, so yes.
Henderson.
I'm voting no because there's been no study to back up what Mr. Clendenin said, and for other reasons stated prior.
And Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried with Miranda, Carlson, and Henderson voting no.
All right, we're in recess until 1:30, and we're going to come back with 92, 93, and the fire issues. We're in recess till 1:30.
And we still love each other. Look.
We're going to come back and vote 93.